Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade, Dark City. I'm going to be the storyteller for the evening, Doug. And I'm going to turn things over to the cast to introduce themselves.
I'm Angela. I'm playing Lillith tonight for real. Correct character. Also known as Gangrel Kitty.
I am Ryan, otherwise known as Voice Ryleased, and I will be playing Herkermer Milton tonight.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing Hannibal Wagner.
I'm Xylus, and I'll be playing Charlie.
First, I would like to say thank you to all the wonderful people in the Vampire the Masquerade community, especially Vancouver by Night, for embracing us into this wonderful, wonderful live streaming actual play community. And once again, thank you for all the support from Underground Theater, especially Bill and Andy. We love you. I would like to say thank you to all the people who have been supporting us, watching us on our Twitch and seeing our Blades in the Dark story campaign and watching this wonderful stream and going and supporting our YouTube. Thank you for watching us. And if you do like this content for those YouTube viewers, please like and subscribe and ding the bell. We are so trying to get our own custom URL, and every view, every like, every share is just so important to us. And thank you so much for the support. Let's be vampires. Everything dies. It is a fundamental rule in our existence. We are born, we live, we experience, and then we meet our end. But just as everything dies, everything remains. Nothing is ever completely destroyed. Our living bodies turn to corpses, our corpses turn to ash, our ash turns to dust, and was transformed into something else. Kindred also follow this rule. But sometimes they have a peculiar way of manifesting themselves instead of transforming after their final death. A memory, a lingering malaise, a remnant of the violence they inflicted upon the world arises. Like an ember being stoked to flame. In tonight's dark story, in our dark city, you can smell the smoke. The four of you find yourself in a car. When we ended last week, you were setting yourself into finding Cole's crew. A task beset to you by the Red Queen. After investigating the territory, you found one of the former members of his coterie, a eccentric Nosferatu by the name of Smokes Malone, who operated a drug den that served as a feeding ground with ideas over embellished by from his own perspective. You listened and engaged him in conversation and struck a deal. But now you turn your sights once again to the hunt. Last I checked, who is driving the car? That would be Hannibal. Okay. Where do we go, Hannibal?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the plan... There was a conversation of going to one of two places.
Mm-hmm.
We were either going to go look into the weird construction that was going on in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
or we were going to go to Cole's construction business and scope it out.
Mm-hmm. So we bring ourselves. Let's bring ourselves into that moment where you guys are discussing
Perfect.
where to go.
Sure.
So you guys find yourself pulling out from Pearl Street, and is it Pearl Street? My notes. Pearl Street. You've from Smokes Malone's Haven. I don't have it in my notes. I should probably have it in my notes, but you find yourself pulling away from Smokes Malone's Haven and engaging a conversation. You guys had talked quite a bit at the end of the last thing, but then there was a dull silence, and now you guys find yourself more or less trying to decide if Hannibal wishes to start the discussion.
Yeah, after the sort of long, awkward pause after Charlie and Herkermer were talking about diablerie,
Yes.
Hannibal will eventually be like, well, where did you guys want to go? We could go to the hospital. We could go...
I think that if we go to the hospital, it's gonna lead us to Cole's construction company anyway. But we should definitely check out the probably first.
Well, we have an address for the construction.
Right, but we want to make sure that both of those things are related to each other. So if they are, then we can kill two birds with one stone.
Well, I personally think we should just do a roundup of the old neighborhood. You know, try and find any spots that he might hide or you know, stow away and keep him and his cronies safe.
Do we know of any other members of Cole's coterie? Did anybody hear anything about that?
The information that you were given by Dutch, if you recall, was that the only information, what limited, is that he had a childer and another Toreador, because he was a Toreador. So, and then there was a fourth member. But other than that, there was no other real clear information that was given over.
So, should we presume then that Smokes was the additional member of the coterie, or are you saying that there's another person other than Smokes and other than the Toreadors who was also a member of the coterie?
I think it was alluded to, if I'm recalling it correctly, he was alluding to Smokes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that I have that.
Mm-hmm.
We could go check by the construction site then. I know that in Charlie's research and in some digging that I did combined, it seems like one of his other coterie members is potentially working there, either under an alias or that's actually their name.
It could be, yeah.
Sounds good to me. Any place to start's a good place to start.
That's it.
So you're heading to the construction site where they
The office,
Oh,
their offices.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not,
you had said those are
Mhm.
within the territory, right?
Yeah, it's not too far away from the hospital. It's like probably about 4 blocks away from the medical campus. So it's still several blocks within your territory. The building is when you arrive, it kind of it has it's sharing the block with several office buildings. It's a 3-story office building. It says, Portview Construction, and it has a fence with a parking lot out front of it, and it looks like a single entrance with a fire escape in the back, or a fire entrance in the back. It looks like a fairly modern construction building. You see the typical windows have no lights on them, with the exception of the top floor, where it looks like there's a sort of like a panoramic office, double-sided on the corner, facing the intersection. As you guys drive by, looking for a place presumably to park, you guys can see some sort of figure up in the office, because it's not too high. Obviously, it's only like 3 stories, so you can see somebody moving around up there. But it's just, other than that single office, there's no one, and there's only 1 car in the parking lot.
Are there video cameras outside or anything that we can see?
There's a video camera facing the entrance, just inside the gate. There's like the front door, as it were. And other than that, and there's one facing the interior parking lot, but nothing facing the street.
How large was this building, you said? How many stories?
3 stories.
3 stories, okay.
So do we just walk in, or are we trying to sneak in, or what?
Well, what's our intent?
Well, I'd say currently finding people, but if we find Cole or any of his cronies, we're gonna have to take them.
The fear is running into Cole with the remainder of his coterie. We don't know how old they all are or how experienced they are. And so we should honestly be careful. So I think just barging in would not be in our favor.
You've been at this kindred game longer than me, so I'm gonna defer to you.
Let's do a bit of surveillance on the building first before we make any sort of move to all go inside or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can pick a corner if you like.
Yeah, try to stay out of sight so whoever it is that's in there isn't noticing all of us coming towards the building.
All right. So I will get out of the car and go pick a good corner that allows me to see the offices, like as much of it as I can without being obtrusive.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull out some rolled up cardboard that I keep in my little satchel and a marker, and make a panhandling sign.
Okay.
And then take my corner.
Okay. And you're observing the entire time. Okay, so Herkermer, you get out and you draw your little sign and put it out and lean or sit. Either or is your option. And
More likely sit.
We'll sit. Okay. And begin to observe. Go ahead and give me are you intently studying, or are you just kind of just sort of keeping an eye out, like a lookout around the things, or are you just like trying to intensely study?
I'm trying to keep a general eye about, paying more attention to the front door and the car that I saw, but definitely trying to keep an overall perspective.
Okay, go ahead and give me a wits plus awareness, if you would.
Wits plus awareness, substituting in hunger dice.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
So 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 total successes, 2 10s, and a red 10.
Okay. 2 10s and a red 10.
That's a messy critical.
It's a messy critical.
Mhm.
One moment. You notice. Okay, so you start looking around. You notice the street is fairly empty, devoid of any cars really going back and forth, because it's kind of a, it's not on the main drag necessarily, and most of the offices in this area are closed and the houses people are sleeping. You do notice that there are several people walking across the street. Just normal. They look like just normal people to you. As you are looking around, maybe it's something about that innate predatory instinct, or that shows itself, or a look you give them, or maybe it's just plain, middle of the night and there's a person panhandling. Maybe not. This is not something that they're used to. But you do notice that the people definitely seem to notice you, and are avoiding you. Even so much as as they're walking down the street across from you, they cross to the opposite side. And they seem to be kind of chit-chatting, look at that guy, he's weird looking. And they do keep on walking though, continuing on their business. It's just you definitely have attracted notice. However, the one most pertinent thing that you did find was, or you do see, is while they were crossing, you noticed just off the way, far on the same side as the street of the building, but because it's a 4-way intersection, so it dominates one corner, and then over here, and I'm assuming right here, or maybe over here, you notice a person you've seen before. It's pale-skinned man, blonde, has a black shirt, looks like kind of a very nice dress shirt that you might wear at a nightclub or something like that, with a silver chain. This time he's wearing a jacket. You recall the person being referred to by name during the gathering at the Red Queen. The name you recall is Krieg. And as you notice him, he definitely noticed you looking, and he's just lighting a cigarette, he's and he just kind of leans up and kind of gives you a gesture it's on you, your move, as it were.
Herkermer will give him the tilt of the hat motion,
mm-hmm.
and get up and walk on over.
Okay.
Is he at ground level?
Yeah, he's on the street.
All right. Yeah, I'll walk on over.
Okay, so it does take you a minute to get over there. While you're walking over there, the rest of your coterie, presumably, I don't know, were you guys parking away or circling around the block, or what are you doing?
We had parked the car,
mm-hmm.
Not obviously in the empty parking lot,
yeah,
but someplace that would blend in.
Mm-hmm.
Herkermer had gotten out of the car, and
mm-hmm.
then I didn't know who was staying in the car, but I had planned to leave the car as well.
Okay.
I was just going in a different direction than Herkermer was going.
Okay. So you're going basically the other direction to surveil the other side of the other end on the main street.
No, I have a
building?
different plan, but first I would like to ask a question about the equipment that Nikita gave me.
Sure.
The rifle that you had mentioned a few times, is it a scoped rifle?
Yeah, I could say it has a not like a sniper scope, but yeah, it has an optic on it.
So okay, so not a scope, but an optic.
It does have a zoom capability, but not. It's
Okay,
not
so
like a far distance. You know, like you could see pretty closely a couple blocks away.
Okay, so I could see from where we're parked into the building to see who that person is.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm attempting. As long as I can see at that range, it's that then I'll grab it basically.
Okay.
If it was just like something super short range, then I wouldn't even grab it, So
Okay.
So yeah, I'll pop the trunk, pull out the rifle, trying to hide it, I will also activate my level 1 Oblivion ability. Shadow. Is it just called Shadow Cloak these days?
Yeah. Let me open my. I always gotta remember to keep. I never remember to keep my.
Yes, it's a Shadow Cloak, so it's gonna give me a +2 to stealth and intimidation.
Okay.
So I'll activate that, and then I will from the car trying to use the car to sort of like give me cover visually from other people or whatever. I will use the scope to look into the building and try and see who that is that's inside there, see if I recognize them or at least to put a face to them.
You see a woman. She is a little older in years. It looks like she's in probably here like just over 40, maybe mid 40s. She has light blonde hair that seems to be starting to maybe see some gray. She's got glasses on, like she's reading. She's wearing just a t-shirt with jeans. She looks fairly like a down to earth sort of look to her. She's frowning and she's shuffling through papers. She's got like a stack of papers. You see that behind her there is a safe built into the wall, where she basically looks up at the computer. She takes a file and she kind of sticks it back in the safe, and then goes and sits down and starts rifling through other stuff. And she seems to be collecting paperwork now, and basically organizing it and putting it and just kind of putting it away. But she kind of seemed, while she's doing it, like intently studying what's on the paper and looking at something on a computer and so forth.
Okay. And just to clarify, the rifle is not currently loaded, so that I would have made sure that the chamber was clear, just in case while I'm using the scope to basically look, some accident happens. I don't want it firing and hurting her or anything like that. So just to clarify, the rifle is unloaded. I'm just basically using it as a telescope. Yeah, exactly. Did Charlie and Lillith stay at the car?
That's why my next question was going to be, what are Charlie and Lillith doing while Herkermer is walking across the street? By the way, I'm going to say while Herkermer is walking and you're analyzing, he's actually going to be walking out of your view, because you're kind of, from what I understand, the opposite end of where he was, like up.
Yeah, wherever we had parked, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
I'm going to do a wide perimeter walk. Just like strolling like I'm a person out walking.
Okay, so you're just gonna basically do a circuit around the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hannibal will mention to Lillith, try to stay in visual range of me if you can.
Okay.
Just because if something goes wrong, I don't want to just like have you disappear or something.
Yeah, from your vantage, you could see that after Hannibal tells you that if you walk across the street and then go like you'll still be in visual sight for quite a little bit, you know, until you're completely on the other side of the opposite end of the building, right? Then you'll disappear from sight. But from where Hannibal is, because there's an elevation, you know, he has a pretty good vantage on most of the round of the building. So, yes,
I'll hand one of the extra burner phones to Lillith as well, and have programmed my number into it. And I'll say, if you do need a break visual range, just auto dial 1, and so we can stay in communication and help you out if you get in a bad place or something.
Okay.
So,
Charlie will make sure to keep eyes on Herkermer, maintaining a distance and trying to remain hidden.
okay. Now, so you're getting out on foot and then basically acting as a spotter for Herkermer, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're on the sidewalk too? Like, so you're
No,
gonna be basically...
if he can maintain a hidden position, he will.
Okay, I could say that you could like step off the street into like an alcove of one of the business buildings nearby. Not the one that you're surveilling of, obviously, but you know, and keep an eye on him. So you do see, as Lilith starts her journey down around, you see Herkermer start walking across the street. You don't know where he's walking towards because he's kind of walking away from the building. And you do notice the people kind of catch him, and you hear Lilith, you know, the people are like, that guy's weird. Oh my God, like these fucking creepy hobos. Oh my God. Like, do you see the way he's looking at us? He's looking at us like we're like steak or something. It seems to be like 4 people, like two women and 2 men, you know, just kind of maybe coming from a bar. One of them seems a little inebriated. And they kind of just continue along their way. As you walk past them, they're heading the direction of Hannibal. You around the corner, and both you and Charlie have a clear vantage point by the time Herkermer arrives at where he was going. You see the same figure that Herkermer saw down the street on the side of the thing. So Herkermer, you walk up, and as he's just kind of putting out a cigarette on the ground, and he's hi.
How do?
How you doing?
So, I'm doing well. Saw you standing over here. Thought I'd come over and make an introduction.
I thought I would come watch the sights.
So you just keeping tabs on us or something?
Oh, well, you know, new coterie, new patch. I think it's not every day that you see new blood come over. Not in quite some time. Thought I'd keep an eye out. And besides, I knew that Cole was, you know, hung around these parts quite a bit. This was his business or something. And I never liked Cole. He didn't want to do business. Figure new blood. See how you guys handle yourselves. You know.
No, I'm a little shaky. Out of character. Did we get descriptions of Cole and his coterie?
No, you didn't. Oh, and you're muted.
The notes that I have, one's here. What we got was that Cole was a Toreador, that maybe he was hanging out with some Tremere, and for sure hooked up with an Nosferatu.
Right.
Those are the notes that I have.
All right. So, if you're out here watching us do our thing, may I ask you something?
Sure.
All right. What does Cole look like? I don't actually know what he looks like.
That's just like the Red Queen, isn't it? Give you a task and then tell you what the person looks like.
Well, I suppose I could have asked, but she's fairly intimidating.
It's all play. She's violent for sure. And but she's unstable. She doesn't. Anyway, I don't want to bring you our little thing. Cole. He's a darker skinned fella. He fairly lean. He keeps his hair pretty short, neat cut. You notice he'll probably be pretty well drew. He has an air about him that he's better than most people. You won't necessarily. He fits in most places, so you may not recognize him so much. But he's always accompanied by what was his name? Deacon.
Who's Deacon? I don't think I've heard that name before.
Oh, you'll recognize him. He has tattoos all around, real sort of, emo edgelord type, he's got some wicked ink. Yeah, he's very distinctive. He's always hanging around.
All right. Now,
and then as a child is Lysette.
Lysette. Like that's his daughter, or
his child. He made her. You guys really are new, aren't you?
Well, yeah. Can't really, help that. It's just the way it is now.
No, I get it. That's partially why I'm here, I you never know when you're dealing with people. And, you guys have some principal property here. You're going to need to defend it. You're going to need allies. I figure out...
Allies are always helpful.
Yeah.
You offering up such an allegiance?
We'll see. I mean, it's not yours yet, right?
Well, true. But it's good to know that I got someone in my corner.
Yeah, your friends are starting to look at me a little weird. I'll leave you to your business. You got any other questions I can help you with? I haven't seen Cole.
I was going to ask if you had seen him, but I didn't know.
No, I don't hang around the territory too much, but word's him and his crew been a little lazy. Nobody's really not defending their normal feeding grounds,
All right.
Fence around the well is sort of broken,
Right.
Hence why I'm interested.
Well, do you know if they frequent any other places aside from this?
No, they're ex-cam, so real boring types. Always business with those guys.
Well, your name is Krieg, right?
Yeah.
Well, Krieg, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Nice
to
meet
have
you
the chance to talk.
Yeah.
Sticks his hand out to shake it.
Hey, and if anybody gives you shit over being a dustborn, you can always come to me. I get the same rap. Not that I'm a dustborn, but caitiff. We're kind of like the same thing, if you don't know what that means.
I really don't know what that means. I heard someone talk about it the other day. Recently, and I have learned more in the last few days than I have in the last few years, and it's going to take a while to get used to it.
Well, we got to stick together. That's all I'm saying. And if you have any questions about the entire thing, feel free.
All right, will do, but not right now. I got to get back to it.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't want to keep your friends. And if they have any questions for me,
Well, actually, do you have a phone?
he hands you a card.
Awesome. Takes a little notebook out. Herkermer takes a little notebook out of his pocket and kind of writes down a number.
No, you're gonna keep that, man. I don't use phones that way in my business. You gotta come to my establishment in order to. I know a lot of anarchs are, all up on the tech and stuff like that, but people disappear around here. So, yeah. Anyway,
well,
nice knowing you.
Nice knowing you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you have a good one too. Good luck.
And hasta la bye-bye, and walks over.
Mm-hmm. He
goes back to his spot and
turns around and walks away. As you're walking back, Lillith, you complete your circuit. There's nobody visible around the building. And Charlie, you seem, you see Herkermer start walking back, and no one is same thing.
I won't approach anywhere near Herkermer or Charlie because as far as I know, the idea is to not be spotted as a group together.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So you're kind of like keeping your distance, just kind of posting up until somebody else gives a sign.
Right.
Okay. Charlie, what are you doing?
Charlie will pull out his wallet and start walking over towards Herkermer.
Okay. You guys meet basically at the corner of the street, directly across from the building.
Mm-hmm.
And
kind of hand over a couple of bills over to Herkermer.
Mm-hmm.
And ask him, what was that about?
Oh, that was, I was talking to Krieg and learning a bit more about who we're going after, like what they look like.
So
and he's a
description.
Yeah, and Herkermer will show the description that he was given. Because let's see, Cole is like a dark-skinned fella. He's like lean, real lean. He's got kind of short hair, and he's like, I don't know, he's got this way about him, I guess, that you just notice if you see it. And then he's always walking around with this, I'm assuming kind of big guy, but named Deacon, and he's all covered in tats, and he says he's super edgy. And you can't. I'm assuming you can't really miss the one with all the tats. But
that gives us a little bit more to go on.
Yeah, and then there's one by the name of Lassette, who is Cole's child. Now I don't know if that's like blood relative or blood relative. Do you get what I'm saying? Well, thank you very much for your charity, sir, and I hope you have a good night. And Herkermer will say that loud enough to be, heard from a good distance away, as he wasn't saying the other stuff very loudly.
Sure.
Just he wants to make it known, thank you, sir.
Charlie will respond with, yeah, Lord bless you, and good luck, pal. And he'll walk back over towards the car.
Okay. So you start walking back to the car. Hannibal, you see this interaction. You see Lillith is kind of posted up near the building. I'm just kind of waiting, looking around. You see Herkermer go back to his spot, presumably, right? And what do?
Once Charlie arrives back at the car, I'm going to offer him the rifle and say, keep an eye on me if you could.
Charlie will immediately check the chamber and everything. It's empty, right?
Yeah, it's currently empty, and then Hannibal will hand you the mag for it, ammo, etc., should you decide to load it and fire it if need be. Hannibal is then going to move towards the building. You said there was a fire escape?
There's a fire exit. Sorry. I initially said it, but I corrected myself. It's a fire exit on the corner of the street on the opposite side of the building.
What is the building shape like? Is it just a flat 3-story building? Does it have broken levels? Does it have a outer fire escape on any portion of it?
No, it's a flat square building with a L-shaped sort of parking lot with the parking lot itself is fenced off. It has a front side entrance, right? Or a front entrance on the side of the building, right where you drive in. You drive past the front entrance, and then on the opposite side of the building, there's a fire exit, I should say. It's flat and it has like the window. It looks like just like your normal commercial business building, very blind generic sort of building. It's brown even. It's very newer prefab construction commercial buildings.
Is there any balconies, large windowsills, anything like that?
There's windowsills, but the windowsills are probably like, yeah, you could probably stand on it.
Okay, so they're large enough that you could stand on them.
Yeah, they're about wide enough for your feet.
Okay, I'm going to go to a side of the building where the video camera is not pointed, if I can.
Okay, yeah.
Is there light there, or is it mostly in shadow?
Most of the city street is dark. Only the street lights.
My plan would be off the city street.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an alleyway surrounding the building, or on
there's a corner little alley, like a maintenance alley, on the corner of the parking lot on the other side of the fence. So the fence kind of like forms a perimeter around the parking lot, but there's like a little alley that drives through the rest of the block. Yeah. So you can find a place that's dark.
Because I'm looking for a place that if I climb over, no one can really see me.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and
Well, I'm not going to climb. I'm literally just going to leap over it. Just.
Oh, okay. So you activate the powers of your blood to leap over.
Soaring leap. Yeah.
Okay. First time we're using this, so we're looking it up. This is one of my favorite powers in the book, by the way. Because so many years I've wanted to be able to leap with potence. A number of meters equal to 3 times your... Okay. 5 times there horizontally, making no run up. Okay. Yeah, you can easily leap over it. The fence. It's maybe 10 feet in height. And not even... It's not like, razor wire. It's just a security,
Yeah. That's why I was asking about the windowsills, was because I knew I couldn't clear 3 floors. I was trying to see if I could go up by like 10-foot or 12-foot sections, basically.
Yeah.
Because if there are ledges, that means I can go up one section, pull myself up, jump up to the next one, and then make my way all the way up.
Yeah. Okay, so you jump up and you manage to... You can get at least easily up to the 2nd story, because it says you can go 5 times their potence level horizontally in meters. Right, so that's at least 5 meters, 15 feet. So you can easily get up to the 2nd, and then with another quick leap, you can. So you do like the sort of like parkour thing, where they're like, jumping up a level, and you find yourself on the 3rd level.
And that is the roof, yes?
The top of the third story, yes, there is a roof. There is a flat roof with just a ventilation duct. And,
there's no like door up there or anything like that I saw from the ground?
You could see a hatch. Like, it doesn't have like your like ends and staircase, but there's a hatch down into the building. Yeah, sure.
Okay, then I'll head up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And sure enough, you get up there and there's a small little hatch with a little like a ladder. It looks like it's one of those ones where you open it up and then there's one of those extending ladders that will extend down as you push it.
Okay.
Because I'm keeping an eye on Hannibal, I'm gonna do a quick sweep of the perimeter around where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that I should make note of?
There's nobody discernibly outside that you can see. Just for posterity's sake. What it was? Give me your Auspex roll. Either resolve or wits. In this case, I would think wits would be more pliable, but it's your choice.
That would be 3.
Okay. Yeah, you see nothing. Nothing new, anyway. You see the woman. She's now kind of through like half a sack of paperwork. There's these folders. They're like being put in little what are they, accordion envelopes and being stuffed in there, and she's finally done packing the vault behind her like it's a safe, and she closes it slightly, not completely, leaving it slightly cracked, and then goes over to the computer and looks like she's clicking and typing on her computer. Is there anything else that you want to do?
No, I'm just otherwise keeping track of Hannibal and making sure that I got us back.
Sure. You see the position that Hannibal is in, that when he's like at the hatch, right? You see that he's on the he should be descending somewhere in the middle of the building where her office is in the corner. So, Hannibal. Oh, Lillith.
Is there, from where I'm standing, I'm gonna go towards the front of the building. Is there like a buzzer or a doorbell or something? Okay, I'm gonna text Hannibal. Should I ring the doorbell down here since you're up there?
Is it possible for me to say that I have a pair of those old like plug-in headphones that I could put into my burner phone, Doug? Okay, so Hannibal will plug into his burner phone and then start a group call with Lillith and Charlie, and then leave the phone in his pocket. And then he'll be like, "Can you hear me?"
Yeah. So should I ring the doorbell buzzer down here?
Yes, you can put the headphone in the thing, and let me roll to see if they understand you. Well, they understand you communicate to them, but you really don't know what the hell is being said. You're just like, shh, it's just coming through and pops and hisses and so forth. You hear like the garbled version of voice, so you know it's Lilith speaking, but other than that, you have really no idea what she's saying. So, what does Hannibal do? Or she's just...
I sit there for a second, I'm like, can you actually hear me right now?
Yes. I already pressed the doorbell as I said yes. I'm committed to that action.
Okay, so from Charlie's perspective and Herkermer's now, because the woman stands up in plain view of the window. She stands up and she goes and kind of looks out the side of the window, you know, to kind of like, what the hell, and picks up the phone and presses a button, and you hear it's like, yes.
I need to see someone in charge, please.
Who is this?
Lillith.
We are closed right now. I'm sorry. Can you come back in the morning?
If you were closed, you wouldn't be here.
I'm working late.
Look, I'm pregnant, and Cole is the father, and I need to find him.
You're click, and then you see from your perspective, Charlie. She's like, she hangs up the phone. You don't know what's being said, obviously, but whatever Lilith said, like, had like, there's a look of like shock on her face. And she hangs up the phone and she goes running out the door. You see
so as soon as she starts to like exude this obvious panic, I will load the magazine and chamber around.
Okay. You see the night lights, room sensors. When people are moving through rooms, they activate, right? Lights turn on from the office above her. So the lights, you see that now that they're the third office floor, pretty well in completion. There's some lights that still haven't turned on, obviously. And she goes to the elevator, and then gets in the elevator. And a couple minutes later, you see a woman come up to the door, still standing in darkness because there's no automatic lights here, and she looks out the window of the sort of storefront, right, or the entrance, which is like a glass window. She's like, and she opens the door. She's like, "You know Cole?"
Yeah, I have his baby. Are you gonna tell me where to find him or not?
I have no idea where to find him. Come in.
Okay. I'll walk in.
Okay. She brings you inside. Anybody else?
I have blush going, by the way.
Give me a rouse check.
Okay. Just the one die.
There's just one die.
Blank.
That means you go up a hunger. So you do manage to blush. When you walked up to the thing, you felt the hunger sort of rise in you. You feel your teeth sort of clench, and as soon as you see her, you're very much reminded of what she is to you, which is only food.
Charlie's in this group call hearing this conversation too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it said Charlie and Lilith.
So you did hear her Lilith end of the conversation, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought I was excluded on that because she was coming through all patchy.
No, the only person that was excluded was Herkermer because he doesn't have a phone.
Oh, okay. That's my bad.
Street.
So, yeah. That doesn't really change a whole lot, but yeah. He's going to look between the elevator and where Hannibal last was.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to check in on Hannibal real quick before retraining the rifle on the lady.
Okay. Is Hannibal having any discernible like is he like obviously trying to listen into his earbud to see if, and being like, hello, like
when he first did the call, he said hello, and then when things got staticky, he was just like, this is what I should expect from this.
This is my life.
Yeah, this is my life. And then he is immediately hoping that Charlie will be able to reestablish visual with him. And his plan was to move towards the office, basically. So I wasn't aware that when Lillith did her whole thing, did I see the woman heading downstairs?
No, because
my plan was to head to the second level and then.
Because you went into the. Did you actually go into the building? Like
I went into the building, I called them, and then my plan was to make my way to the office.
Okay, yeah, so you saw the lights turn on, you saw the woman kind of dart by, because you ended up basically in the what looks like a kitchen
staircase or something,
like a kitchen,
a kitchen.
Yeah, like an office kitchen. Like you have a microwave, you have a couple vending machines, you have some tables and stuff like that, and then you see her like kind of dart behind. And you hear the elevator pop a couple seconds later, and and then you hear it go down, right? It seems like a pretty old elevator, so you hear the rusted cables and things like that.
I'll be heading to the office then.
Okay, so you come out and you walk towards the office. Okay.
I'm trying to keep a low profile just in case, and I'm trying to check ahead of I'm not entering a room until I've sort of peeked into it to make sure there's not people or there's not cameras or there's not. Stuff like that before I just go walking into it.
Go ahead and give me a stealth roll.
Sure.
We're gonna say, because you're pretty adept and it's not too difficult to avoid things, we'll set it light at 2 successes to navigate with fair certainty that you're keeping out of all.
What is the stat associated? Dexterity.
In this case, yeah, I would say dexterity. Sure.
Okay.
Just to let you know, in Vampire 5th Edition, unless it's like a discipline roll that says specifically this thing, there's almost always an option for additional rolls, and there's no real set rolls for certain things. Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
It depends on the situation. There are some situations in which you can use, for instance, with firearms, composure is a big stat.
That is 5 successes.
5 success. Okay, so you navigate with these. You're in there, and Flynn, and being careful. There's no one else apparent. The office looks clean, so the janitorial staff has obviously gone home for the night, and leaving no trace of your passage, and staying out of any cameras or anything like that might be visible from the street or from the elevator shaft, because that was the first thing you noticed was the cameras to be you gainfully avoid the camera sitting on the elevator shaft and or elevator bank, I believe it's called, and navigate your way into the room where you see basically this wide sort of office, corner office sort of setup. There's lots of there's a big office desk with kind of one of those a drafting table with that's kind of tilted up with plans, and they're rolled up into sort of piped tubing that sits on the side, and then there's other big billboard sort of or display the easels that are holding several plans for obvious construction stuff, and you also see the computer, which is still on, and the safe, which is kind of half cracked open.
Oh, it's a safe.
Yeah, it's like a wall safe type of deal.
Okay, sorry, I thought you had said vault. So I was expecting something bigger.
I said vault like it was like a bank vault or something like that.
That's what I got confused about. I was like, wait, there's a vault in here? Holy moly.
One of these days, words and me will agree with each other, and I'll be able to describe things with accuracy. Until that time,
all good. So
we're gonna.
I'm gonna check through the safe thing and see what's in there.
Okay, so you open up the safe, and you see First of all, it's not like your normal safe. It actually only has a fingerprint thumb, so it looks like it, and with a keypad instead of like a dial or anything like that. You know, you open it up and you notice that there's several accordion files stacked up right next to each other, and other than that, that seems to be the only thing that's really in there.
I'm gonna pull them out and flip through one of them.
Okay, so you pull out the first one, and it's marked for a year prior, and it says it has a little like a sticky pad note that's kind of been taped to it over the label to allow for more writing, and it says like "What happened?" ? And the next one is project reports, and for the same year. And the third one was research on coal.
It says research on coal.
Yeah.
How big are these? Would I be able to grab all of them?
Oh yeah, you can easily grab them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, you carry them pretty easily. Yeah.
A big stack or something. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like over your head or anything, but yeah, you can carry them pretty easily.
Okay. I will grab them. I will try to see if I can find, maybe in the office, but probably not, some sort of like either a bag or cart. You know how like mail services in office buildings have those mail carts?
Yeah.
And I will grab one if there's nearby, throw it down on that, and then just quickly wheel my way back the direction I came.
You actually notice that most of the offices in this room seem to have lots of like bags and equipment that you might carry onto a construction site if you were a foreman or something like that. So that you actually find a pretty readily available duffel bag that like looks like it's pretty sturdy, has like sort of like some sort of interior slotting, so it like folds out like a box that you would put stuff in and carry on to a place where you need to keep paperwork safe, or even like tools if it need be, or anything like that, really. Yeah.
I'll have shut the safe when I left too.
Okay, so you shut it in here.
Also, the one other thing I have is whose name, you know how like offices have a little name tag?
Yeah.
Whose name is on the office?
Janet Cicero.
Oh, this is Janet Cicero. Okay.
So going back, we're going to move back to Lillith.
Okay.
While you're doing that. And she, the woman, it's like, come in. And she shuts the door. Is like, how do you know Cole?
I met him at a bar, and we had a one-night stand, and I got pregnant.
When was this?
A couple of months ago? 2-3 months ago?
Did he's still in town?
I don't know. I haven't seen him since then. I figured he would be here and avoiding me.
You don't want to get involved with him.
Why?
I met him several years ago.
Okay.
And I remember a lot of our, couple dates that we went on and things like that. But I think he, I don't know. I just, you don't want to get involved with him. I don't remember much from the time that we were together, because we've been together for, well, up until about 7 months ago. We were together for quite a time. I mean, I used to love him like a lot, like insanely. But now he's gone. He completely took over my business behind my back. I didn't even, and I let him, I guess. And I think he ripped me off. I don't know what's going on. But there's all kind. He came in here and he ran the place like it was his. And I let him. But there was all now I'm finding out all this stuff has been going on. I think he was ripping off the contracts we do. We do construction. You saw the sign.
Yeah.
I think he ripped off a bunch of people we do contracts with. And there's a bunch of other weird stuff. He had some really strange friends. He's just stay away from. You don't want to find him.
And if I do,
I don't know. There's something about him that when you're in his presence, I would watch it. I would be careful. Yes, Hannibal.
Did I hear that?
Yeah.
Through the phone call. Did I hear what Janet said?
Actually, on plan flaw.
Please dice, please dice, please dice.
Yes, he did.
Okay, thank God.
Okay, thank God. It was still a little. It was a little poppy, but you got.
Yeah, but I caught the general gist of what Janet was saying. Yeah. That's all I needed. Okay, I will. Just to let you know, I'm no longer. Once I heard that, I'm no longer planning to leave with the files.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to head back to the office.
Okay.
Set the files down.
Mm-hmm.
And then wait and see if she brings Lillith up or if what happens in their conversation, basically. Because I don't want to scare her, but I plan to try and approach Janet. I'm just trying to figure out where the best place to do that would be.
Okay. What does Charlie do? Does Charlie change any of his actions? Just to check in with Charlie real quick.
So Charlie hears that portion of the conversation, right?
Absolutely.
Charlie will retract the mag, and remove the round from the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will send a quick text to Lillith asking her to ask for an address where she could send paperwork or serve paperwork to him.
I'm gonna grab my phone and look at it while I'm talking to her, and then I'll look up and I'll do a search after that for a courthouse and stuff, and I'll be like, do you have an address where I can serve him with paperwork? Because welfare is going to ask me to serve him with paperwork, and I'm going to be here pregnant, and I'm sure as hell not going to tell him and I'm an unwed mother, or I don't know who the father is. That's ridiculous. And my brother's in the car, and he's going to go kick his ass.
I don't know. I met him in a bar, and then for some reason I never have done this, right? I met him in a bar a couple years ago, and he ended up living with me. And I don't know why. I was at a strange point in my life.
When's the last time you saw him?
Last time I saw him was 7 months ago.
Here?
Yeah, he was here, and he would always work late. He never liked to, I would always run things during the day, and he would always come in and, do things at night, and, because it's kind of a 24-hour job, sometimes. And he had a couple of his friends. He would always have his friends over. I guess they would just hang out while he worked or something. Which I don't know why I even let that happen. I mean, the things you do when you're he was
What about
Ask their names.
What about
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. What about his friends? Do you know where they are, or who they are, or what their names are?
No, he said he had to drop by the construction site to check on something, and I caught them. See, it's really hard because, like, a lot of my, I don't remember things really clearly all the time. I think I've been to the doctor a couple times, and they say it's just like stress or something, or maybe it's like, the mind just trying to move on, but I remember them saying that, like, they really had to check on this project we have going at the hospital.
Oh.
We do construction. We've been doing renovations for the hospital and the medical campuses and things like that. And there's this project. The funny thing is, though, like, they canceled the project like 2 days prior to that. So I don't know what he would have been checking on. And the hospital doesn't know. They don't even have records of it, which is really strange. I think he was, like, that's why I say I think he's ripping people off. Yes, Hannibal.
This may seem weird. I'm going to be making a pot of coffee. I'm going to go back into the kitchen, make a pot of coffee, and then I'm going to mention to Lillith, and if it doesn't seem like she's responding... Actually, you know what? I'll just send a text. I'll send a text to Lillith that says, bring her upstairs. Please.
I'm going to ask her. Okay. Do you have a bathroom? Because I really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah. There's one right over here. I'm working. You should come upstairs. Come on upstairs. We'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, if you use bathroom and stuff like that. I also got some better chairs than down here. I mean, the ones we have down here are pretty cheap.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Charlie.
At this point, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna, keeping eyes on the building, I'm gonna go over to an area where I can see Herkermer, and I'm gonna wave him over.
Okay. Herkermer, you see Charlie wave at you.
All right, I'll roll up the sign and head my way over to where Charlie is. How you doing, Charlie? What's up?
I'll hand him the phone.
Okay,
I need you to keep ears so I can keep eyes.
I got you. I'll get in the car and
Go back to post on the car.
Okay.
and I'll sit there with the phone and pull out a notebook and pen and
Does Charlie
getting ready for shit.
Does Charlie try to convey? Because you do see Hannibal now. Because I would assume that Hannibal, while he's been trying to stealthy, probably wouldn't be as concerned with keeping out of Herkermer's sight.
I was trying to keep him within some sort of visual range of people on the team, because it seemed like my connection wasn't working, and just in case I got into a bad place, I wanted them to at least see what was going on.
So you do see Hannibal's in the office, but does Charlie convey anything about what's going on, the conversation he's heard, or anything like that? Just real quick, I mean, to like bring you up to speed, sort of.
I'll bring Herkermer up to speed on what's been going on real quick, and then I will ask him to send a text to both of them, letting them know that I have eyes on them.
Okay.
I missed the last part. You had eyes on what?
Both of them. Both of, or I guess it would be...
Texting away. Like, I got ears. Charlie has eyes.
Okay. So the texts fly around. Everybody becomes aware of where everybody is. After you exit the bathroom, Lillith, she takes you upstairs. Because she's waiting in the lobby with you. She's like, and she presses the elevator button. It's just a very simple elevator. You get in, it's kind of like creaky, though. It looks like it needs to be maintained. Obviously it's something that people use many times. And it takes you up and opens up, and you see a lit office room with cubicles and drafting boards up. Not your typical paperwork goblin, but one what might fit a drafting company or a construction company.
Yeah.
The
you smell
kitchen
coffee.
light is on.
Yeah. You also smell coffee. And she's like, "Oh, come on, right this way." And you were sitting in the office, correct, Hannibal?
No, I'm in the kitchen, standing obviously in the door, not in an imposing way, just like near the door, in a chair, cup of coffee in my hand.
Okay, so
trying to be as unimposing as possible.
Okay, so you do manage. She goes walking across the thing, leading the way for Lillith, and then she stops because out of the corner of her eye, she sees this person sitting in the.
Yeah, I've turned off Shadow Cloak, by the way.
The company kitchen,
and I've hidden my weapons, etc. Yep.
And she's like, "Oh my god!"
Whoa, 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 whoa!
She's like, I don't have any money on the premise. Don't kill me.
I'm not a robber. I'm not a mugger. I'm a private investigator that was hired to look into coal.
I'm pregnant and he owes me. How'd you get in here so quick?
Yeah. How did you get in here so quick?
Your locks aren't very good.
That's true.
I've been in the building for a while,
so
and it just so happened that when you left was the perfect distraction. To be frankly honest, I got into your office and looked through some of the files, but I realized that you know about the same amount that I know about coal, and you're wondering the same questions.
So you know, as she looks at Lilith, and so you know this guy?
No, I don't.
So wait a minute.
I was hired by the hospital, by a man who works for the hospital.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a persuasion test.
Sure.
What is the attribute?
I would say in this case, because you're trying to basically use, the details instead of just overpowering somebody,
Sure.
Manipulation would probably be.
Would you accept composure?
You know what? I would actually, because
Okay.
composure, like in this case where she is upset and you're just maintaining your calm, we could say that it's like you're just keeping steely face to your story. This is the way it is. You're keeping your cool, and that's exuding a more believable effect. So yeah, composure would be fine.
Can I use composure and subterfuge?
That I would say no.
What was the skill you were asking for?
Persuasion.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have a skill, is it -1?
If you do
Good
not have a
question.
skill, you can use subterfuge. Lilith, you're outright lying to her.
Yeah.
Right. What this test is to see how effective Hannibal is.
Oh, I thought it was mine.
Yeah, this is just for Hannibal.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm using persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same question though, really quick. That's a great question. What happens when you don't have dots in the skill?
You.
Also, Xylus has something.
Yes. Go ahead,
I was
Xylus.
wondering if there is the ability to assist.
Only when you're present. Yes, but yes, you can.
Technology could be present.
Well, you're not present.
You're not present currently, so you can't assist him yet because you're not in front of her right now, helping with this lie.
Yeah.
I communicate that through the technology, though. Like, give her my contact info,
Oh yeah.
and she
I'm
can.
just doing this initial roll, and then we'll continue the role play from there. And if I need to prove myself, I'll probably do something.
Oh, I was
like
just
that.
wondering if that would be possible to use as like a maybe aid you.
I hadn't set the successes for the test, so I could say that because of the fact that you can easily supply the information for the contact information, or use Charlie's name.
Yeah, that was my plan.
You could. The difficulty would be one lower than, because I was gonna set it at 4 successes because it's kind of like out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But I could say 3 successes would be
Sure.
appropriate. But I'm looking up our new skills. I think you just roll the attribute, honestly.
Okay. I mean, I have insight, but that's not lying. I don't know if that would be an acceptable skill.
No, that would be to see whether or not she would, what she might want to do. You could, if you want to use subterfuge as an outright lie, just to kind of like stack on an effective lie, but this is more or less just a kind of, the lie's already, she already has an established incentive to believe.
Yeah, I'm fine with
a person.
persuasion. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
That was very lucky. But I don't think it's enough, because on 3 dice I got 3 successes.
Ooh. Did you forget? Did you substitute your hunger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Specialties, trackers, impulse. Well, I cannot.
We can always look it up later.
Yeah, I'll just say just roll your attribute for right now.
Sure. Yeah.
This will be a rule that we got wrong, I'm sure. It's okay though. Total fairy tale. Yeah. Okay. So you got 3 successes, just barely. So she almost, like, for a second, she's just like, she seems like she's not gonna do anything drastic for the time being, and she's willing to hear you out your story and things like that. The effectiveness of the lie is more or less successful because of her willingness to want to find out Cole. So she's willing to
to deal with the oddness. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're an investigator.
I'm a private investigator that was hired by a member of the hospital that was negatively affected by Cole's actions. Sometimes before legal action is taken, they want us to pull up dirt or anything like that.
Well, we're not.
So I was just.
The company's not liable, are they?
He is a owner here. Yes.
He was never anything official.
Is his name on any dotted lines?
Well, that's what I've been going through. He signed a great deal of things, even though he had no authority to. In fact, I'm thinking about bringing him on charges if I could find him, but
sure.
You know, technically, I mean, this wouldn't be the first thing. I'll be honest with you. I think the guy ripped me off.
Sure.
Pulled, like, you know, one of those con jobs on me. I mean, I have evidence, like, you know, of all this stuff that I wasn't involved in that he was doing.
Would you be willing to testify to this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, and this is not an official anything, so nothing you say now is considered on the record in any way, shape, or form. I was just specifically hired to try and find any information I could to eventually lead the legal team in the right direction.
As far as I know, he started signing a bunch of contracts with the different places around the medical campus for renovations. A lot of those just either were stopped or were the workers, you know, he was allocating resources to things that didn't need allocating resources or should have been, or, you know, he's stopping crews and things like that. And then, you know, ever since he's left, it's been a disaster here. You know, he was spending money in the strangest ways. Like there's money that's just disappearing from projects, and there's projects that apparently he took money for that are not even on record with the hospital. We were just, you know, like if this is about the underground construction thing, it's not that I don't care. I actually checked with the administration about that, and they don't have any records about it. So if there's...
Yes, I've been informed by the hospital what is going on their side, and I was asked to look into your side as well as try and find what I can. I mean, I'm not specifically looking for coal because I'm not a law enforcement officer. I'm specifically hired to try and find information to send our eventual legal action in the right direction.
Yeah, last time I saw him, he was leaving to go check on that check on the construction site at the hospital. There was a digging operation. Apparently, an extra sub-basement was going to be added. He took money for it. It showed up in our account. The hospital definitely paid for it, but they don't have any records of its discharge. I spoke with the administration about it, and I'm willing to finish the project. I'll pay for the project. I mean, you know, I can't lose these commitments here. That's my business, you know. So, and
sure.
I'll give you whatever you need. I could just photocopy it. I mean, you said you already looked at my safe.
I saw that your safe was open, and I saw that what caught my eye was I peeked inside. Sorry, it's a habit, but I peeked inside and I saw the thing about coal, and that drew me to it, and I pulled them out and was going to start going through them. And then I was like, nope, I should wait. You know, it'd probably be too much if you just walked in and saw me going through your private files. So
yeah, apparently he, other than the projects he was doing, he was funneling money somewhere. There were a bunch of unnamed accounts that have been closed or were closed shortly after. And other than that, there's a shell account in retainership for a house over on Pearl Street. Like, you know, the really shitty one, like it's kind of a crack house, you know. Apparently it was put in a retainership for somebody called Malone, Mr. Malone.
So are you telling me that you as a company own that property?
No, we purchased it and then we placed it under retainership under a shell company. Like he had created a shell company. Like it's just a piece of paper.
Sure.
I left it alone because it's kind of a crack house. I think he may have been dealing drugs on the side or something like that. I didn't want to get involved, but it's like kind of hard to undo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would check there.
This is definitely an important conversation. I feel like I sort of like sideswiped you with this whole thing. I also didn't know that you had someone here with you. Is this your sister?
Oh, this is just a friend.
Oh, I see. I can come back during the day since it's becoming pretty obvious to me that you're willing to work with me as well as work with any sort of legal action to try and get you out ahead of all these issues that Cole's caused. So they had hired me because they thought that everyone here at the company was involved and in the know about what Cole was doing and was okay with it. But now that I can see that someone else, presumably your supervisor, owner or something.
Yeah, I'll turn over. No, I'm the owner of the company.
Okay, so what is he signed to then? Like, how did he have any sort of ability to legally make decisions? Was it more just like a collaboration thing?
I never had him under the payroll. He wasn't signed into the business.
Okay.
But he would sign off on projects. They would sit at my desk, and for some reason I approved. I don't remember approving of any of these things. I swear to God.
So he was Then just so I can check here, was he considered a private contractor then for your company?
Well,
He was not considered the legal owner or anything?
No, he wasn't an owner or anything. I think he was forging my name. I think he was basically like, because we were going out and he was living with me and he you know, started working here, you know, but he wasn't on the payroll. I didn't even so much as take out a social security number. Right. But he would go and sign things and then have me and then somehow my name popped up on these things. I never signed anything. I don't remember doing any of that. You know, so the last thing I want to do is go to jail. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Sure.
He's already destroyed my business.
Sure. I think, I mean, obviously I'm not a lawyer. I'm just somewhat familiar with these sorts of things. But from what it's sounding like to me, it would be very easy to then presume that he was a independent private contractor for you that worked for you. And it may be that he potentially has committed fraud, and perhaps your business will be able to avoid the blows from that.
Oh yeah, like I said, if I could just, you know, find him. I've already gathered a lot of paperwork, you know, for my case and things like that. I've spoken to my lawyer,
Okay.
and the lawyer is pretty sure, as long as, you know, we could pull up who he actually is, because that's the problem. He doesn't exist. Like, as far as like we could find out.
Can I be quite honest with you about something? I have a few friends in the force here in DC, and they mentioned a few things to me about this man. Some of your assumptions are hitting the nail right on the head. They think that this guy's rather dangerous, and so I'd highly suggest to you that the next time that he shows up, or that you see him, or that he calls you,
okay,
please reach out to the police, and then reach out to me if you can, or reach out to me and then I can inform the police if you're worried that calling the police would be too hard.
Sure. Do you have a number?
Yes, and I will write my number down, the burner phone number, on a piece of paper, like a little scrap of paper, and then hand it to her.
Okay. She takes it.
I will leave you be, though. I don't want to interrupt you further. Is it? Should I show myself out, or?
You know, this has been. Look. Can I get your number? And she looks over at Lillith.
Sure. And I'll grab a piece of paper and write down my burner phone number.
Yeah, it's just been a lot. I'll give you a call. I need some time to think about that. I mean, if the people are, like I said, I just don't want to go to jail. I really wish I never went to that bar. And he has destroyed my life.
As I mentioned, the right people are aware of Cole and are doing everything that they can to try and find him and take him into custody. So it's just a matter of time.
So combined with the adding 2 dice, one for Lillith, one for Charlie, or one for each additional member, pick the highest subterfuge pool out of either Lillith or Hannibal using manipulation subterfuge. And this is only to see if she has any returning doubts and questions the next day when she starts thinking about it.
My total is 2 as well.
Winning. So plus 2 dice. Because Charlie, you know, the weight of Charlie's name, there's, you know, she can call up easily and see that Charlie actually does exist, and he, you know,
yeah, I'll have given her that information and mentioned, you know, so that she can call him, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I heard that guy."
This is the wake up thinking about things, because she was kind of blindsided tonight. So it's for now, she's completely fine. Whether or not you leave with her, whether or not later on you kind of get an impression that maybe it might stick or not. Go ahead and give me the roll, either one. Your 2 dice in your pool plus 2.
2 plus 2. You want to roll, Mike, or should I? I'll roll.
Teamwork.
1 success, 3 blanks.
Okay.
Are the blanks on black dice?
Yes, one of them is.
You can spend a willpower to reroll up to 3 black dice.
Yeah, that's the willpower damage.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Are you willing
will
to do
do
that?
that. I will do that.
Okay.
Blank again.
Okay.
All 3 of those were blank. The black dice.
Okay, so now what I will add is that because you did not succeed in your difficulty, which was set at 3 successes, because it's kind of an elaborate lie, right? You could choose to win at a cost. So you will win, but you will also accept that, let's say that even though she might believe it and be satisfied, at some point in the future, when she's talking about it with somebody, they will not believe it and they will start looking into it. So you're kicking the can down the road.
So something will seem fishy about the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make a note.
Do it.
And since you guys leave, I'm assuming you guys meet up with Charlie and Herkermer. And
yeah, I'll make some bullshit small talk on our way out. I'll be like, "Did you take a cab here? I didn't see a car outside. Is that your car or is that her car?"
No, I walk
Where from?
across town.
You want me to give you a ride? I'm heading through town.
Sure, that would be appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave a pregnant lady on the side of the road in the middle of the night, okay?
Okay. And it seems like we're getting to a convenient time for break. Before we went on break, we had met, had surveilled Portview construction, and managed to glean from Janet Cicero information about possibly the whereabouts of Andrew Cole and some of the history that Janet Cicero had, the owner and proprietor of Portview Construction. You had created excuses for yourself as you guys leave, and we're now once again reuniting with each other. I'm assuming back at the car, but wherever. So we'll just take it from there. You guys come out of the building, come back to the car. I'm assuming that Charlie and Herkermer see that as a sign, and you guys are all back at your vehicle.
Did you say it was Portview Construction?
Yes. Let me double check, because sometimes I get words in my mouth that don't mean what I mean them to mean. Yes, Portview Construction. It's that shattering confidence in my storytelling. Right?
You can do it.
So, you guys are at the car. Where do you go?
We'll not linger too long. We'll get into the car and then head off.
Okay. I'm assuming, or is Hannibal driving? Okay. Where do we go, Hannibal? Or what kind of conversation? Do you just like drive around and while you guys are discussing where to go?
Sure.
Okay. So you start, just driving through the neighborhood.
Well, if you're interested, I learned what Cole looks like. He's a dark-skinned feller. He's lean. He's got like short hair. He's kind of got like, he's well dressed and kind of walks with an air about him. Should be pretty easy to spot. Because he always walks around with this guy named Deacon, who's I'm assuming he's kind of a big guy, but he's covered in tattoos, and he was described to me as kind of like an edgelord. So more than likely, those two will be running together. And there is a woman by the name of Lassette, who is Cole's child.
How did you learn this?
I saw Krieg. He was watching us. He's just keeping an eye on the new guys, making sure we're not, messing shit up.
That's what he said.
That's what he said to me.
He
Is
said he was
still
keeping an eye.
around? Sorry, go ahead.
He said he was keeping his eyes on the new guys.
Yeah, that's what he said. Now, I don't know if that's like, if he got ordered to do that or what, but he's...
I would say based on how disapprovingly the Red Queen spoke about Krieg, in fact, saying directly to us, don't go talking to Krieg, that she did not send him here.
I'll view it as a point of note that we should probably inform her that he was snooping around in the same area as Cole.
Yeah. Is he still around somewhere?
No, he took off a little while ago. I mean, I can... Doug, I will look around again, trying to see if I see Krieg snooping.
No, what last that you had seen him before you turned away to walk back to your position on the corner, you were keeping kind of like awareness about you. You just saw him walk down the street, and walk around the corner. As you guys are driving around, you guys obviously didn't see when you exited the area. You didn't see any sign of him, or otherwise.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's gone. Sorry, I can't tell you too much more.
I'm not upset because of what you can or can't tell me. And honestly, it's not your fault that you don't understand the implications of what took place. I'm just upset in general in the situation.
Fair enough. What can we do to end your upsetness? Well, what can I do?
In the future, if a kindred comes into our territory unannounced, they're not our friend.
He said something about it not being ours yet.
That doesn't change what I mean.
I'm just going off what I know.
Sure. The point that I'm making is that kindred are territorial for a reason, because if you show weakness, they'll take advantage of that weakness. And we don't want it to spread amongst the kindred that people can just show up in our territory. They should announce themselves. They should call us. They should reach out to us. Because
Good to know.
we find them and they haven't, it's our territory to decide what happens to them.
Right. Guess I'm gonna have to get used to that.
Yes. And that's why I said I'm not upset at you. It's something you didn't know. I'm just upset that Krieg would be pushing boundaries so early.
Okay. I'm not I'm not a full-blooded kindred, so I guess I don't understand. I will never understand everything that it is to be you.
You're a kindred nonetheless, but
I will double my efforts to make sure I learn.
it's a matter of respect. It's the idea that when you walk into someone else's house unannounced, they presume you're an intruder. Right?
So should I just take off on him next time?
Next time, if he shows up randomly in our territory, call me.
Sure.
I would love to have a conversation with him.
How? I don't have a phone.
I can give you a phone. That's not hard.
Okay. I can take it.
In that bag back there, Hannibal will say, pointing to like a small little like duffel that's sitting in between your two seats that you guys are sitting in.
Herkermer will go down and pick out a phone that looks sturdy.
Probably not a lot of them at this point because I've just been handing them out, but you know, I presume there's at least one or two more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
The bag he gave you, that Nikita supplied you, had several pistols, the rifle, some phones, like burner phones, because assumedly you would probably swap and go through them. And
the really shitty Nokias.
Yeah, really old, like
really old. Yeah, not like brick phone, but like like early. Yeah, the early 2000 like flip up phone that has the big buttons that point out.
So you guys find yourself driving around, and do you all discernibly notice that you're kind of starting to do the same sort of loops,
I'll eventually head towards the hospital then.
Okay. So as the car starts pulling towards the hospital, and you guys notice the direction, because the towering white abalastre walls of the St. Peregrine's Community Hospital falls into sight, dominating the landscape. We join back of the car. You drive in. Now, the parking garage that you have frequently used is for service vehicles primarily, while the van that you use does have a spot there for your company to park. You normally have to park either in the employees using Charlie's parking sticker, as it were, or parking thing, or in the general parking. Regardless, where you park isn't necessarily consequentially important. You do find yourself parking and walking in through the hospital entrance at night. You walk in through the normal entrances that accommodate most of the people. You walk past the individuals sitting in the waiting room for hours, moaning. It's their ailments. Most of these individuals will be seen and stabilized or treated very peripherally before they're sent on their way because of lack of insurance. You walk past the hectic doctors who are so overworked that they never seem to be able to maintain the professional atmosphere at all times. And where do you go? You find yourself in the front of the elevator banks on the first floor. Oh, the main floor, I should say.
Can you get us into the basement and to find whatever sub-basement construction Cole and his crew was up to, Charlie?
If I remember correctly, the basement doesn't actually exist. He just took the money for the project and left, right?
You, having gone down there quite a bit, because that's where your labs are located, there is always construction in the hospital, and primarily for at least the time that you have been operating at St. Peregrine's for the last half a year, there has been construction sealing off a portion of the second floor basement. You've been told that it was, rumor around the hospital had been is because of they were expanding or adding a third sub basement or something like that, and you don't remember there being any workers necessarily or anybody going to and back and front, but there was definitely a part of a small part that like is cordoned off. This is a work site.
So they actually did stuff down.
Yeah, you're always walking past. No matter where you go, there's always either something that's either broken or damaged, like just been finished and just waiting to be tarnished, which it quickly soon becomes, or it's sealed with construction, the tarp, and warded off, or you're walking through boarded hallways that are kind of put up there to make sure that people don't trip over when they break into the foundation or the floors or whatever they happen to be working on. So yes, downstairs in the second floor basement there is an area that has been designated a construction zone. In fact, most of the hallways are kind of covered in that sort of temporary boarding and things like that. And it's been that way ever since you arrived.
Okay. Yeah, I should be able to get you guys down there. Any other questions? All right.
Not for me.
Silences, let's go.
Okay, and you guys get in the elevator and go down to the second floor. It opens up into the hallways that you're very much familiar with. All of you are becoming quickly familiar with. With the exception of Herkermer, I don't think Herkermer has really been here too much.
No, well, actually, I have a contact that works in the blood lab.
Yeah, but I don't think you've ever met him in the blood lab.
No.
So you go wandering towards the area that Charlie shows you, and it's basically you guys walk down a very long hallway past Charlie's labs. On the opposite side of the structure, there's right in the middle of the hallway, there's like a tarp, a clear tarp, as like the caution tape put up to prevent people from walking. It has like a little like road cone type thing set up so people act as a barrier to hold the tape up, and something you can be easily surpassed. The tarp can be pulled aside and he leads you past that, and you see basically the hallway has been stripped down to have new drywall, that sort of stuff. And over in the corner where the fire escape, the stairwell for the fire escape sits, there is you see basically a hole, like the entire side portion of the wall has been jackhammered or destroyed, and you see basically these large metal support structures that have been temporarily scaffolding sort of situation, presumably where they're gonna put the new stairs or whatever, and it sort of like it's the scaffolding is like a ramp sort of situation that cross hatches down. As you guys look down the stairwell, the hole, you see basically sides of the tub or the foundation of the building sits in, which is not made out of a normal concrete because it's a very old building, if we remember, but kind of a very thick stone on the sides of the wall. On the other side, it's just surrounding it is like dirt and sediment, things that they had packed at the bottom of the building to pad it. As you guys go walking down, are you doing anything special while you guys walk down the scaffolding, or like repairing anything, or
I am gonna pull out one of my little vials and just kind of keep it cupped in my hand, just in case I need it.
Okay. You notice that there's no lights erected. There's construction lights that you can turn on if you wish, to turn on the light up the scaffolding. Otherwise, you could take flashlights. Which one do you prefer?
Flashlights, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, flashlight.
Okay. So you guys take the flashlights off of the bench where there's flashlights and tools and hard hats and things like that for people who are going down into the places where it may not be safe. You guys do not turn on the construction lights, and you're navigating your way down for probably about, let's see, about 20 feet. You guys enter land in a pit. Now you're definitely beneath the tub. You see above you the stone, the bottom of the foundation of the building. There's earthen walls have been kind of taken out. You see sawhorses set up everywhere. You see a shed that's been like a shack that's been sort of constructed where there's heavy digging materials and that sort of thing. It's a kind of a large room that kind of spans, seems to span most of the bottom. You see like supports have been erected in various places to keep structural integrity there. You see that there's metal framing also that's been erected. The space is quite expansive. At this point, go ahead and since you all will be investigating together, the person with the highest pull. Where's my sheet? Where's my little skill sheet?
I would just like to make one thing known, Doug. Hannibal did not take a flashlight.
Yes.
And I am activating Oblivious Sight.
Yes.
Okay. Just you're aware.
Yeah. In fact, actually, since this is the first time that you guys have been submitted to darkness, you guys all are very acutely aware that Hannibal doesn't have a flashlight, one, and that he seems to be pretty adept at seeing in the dark. You've never really, because you've never really been in a situation where you've, seen Hannibal in almost a complete darkness, and he's just kind of navigating around like it's nothing. So
if any of you look at Hannibal during that time, you'll notice his eyes have completely changed. They are just completely black. But otherwise, it doesn't seem like anything's off or anything. He's moving normal. He's, everything's fine. It's just his eyes are just almost like just a pupil, basically, black.
You give me the highest of the, let's say, highest of intelligence in either investigation or awareness. So the person with the highest pull on that, I know, you got 4. We got a 6 over here.
I have a 6 as well.
Okay. So go ahead and let's say Herkermer, because Herkermer hasn't done a whole lot of rolling. And
All right.
Go ahead and add 2. to that dice pool. And your successes are going to be, let's say 3. 3 is a good number. It's pretty average difficulty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I only rolled 110, but it was on a red die. So I don't know if that matters.
No, it's fine. As if you rolled 2 10s and at least one of them was on a red die, then it would be messy critical.
Right.
So you got 5 successes. The margin of success is 2. So you very quickly identify, even from just exiting the ramp, off in the corner, there seems to be there's a cordon off area that kind of draws your interest, like has plywood kind of set up, to make a little room sort of thing, and just through it, just looking through it, you can see that there is a space beyond that, and then the wall, and in front of the wall there's a large rack that seems kind of out of place, like for tools and machinery and such, with a drywall back. But you can just barely make sure. It's just like kind of like that sensory awareness thing where you could kind of sense the space of a room. You're like, hey, there's something behind that rack over there.
Hey, you folks seeing this? And Herkermer points at the rack. Someone grab the other end of that.
I'll go grab the other end.
Right, and then we give it a pull. Or a twist, or something.
You guys have to move. There's many heavy things on it that have been placed on it to keep it from moving, too much. But you guys managed to, with effort, move the stuff off of it, and then you guys can easily pick it up. It's like one of those heavy-duty industrial racks, so it does take all of you to kind of, and then move it off to the side. But you guys managed to clear enough space, at least for a body to get through. You see that there's a hole, and the hole leads out. Now, you're underground, so it's a little hard to usually tell sensory, but for just the sake of later on describing where you guys might be going in this hole, it's going north. But in character, you don't have any really awareness until maybe later. But it's a hole basically dug out of the ground. You notice that it's not with the precision, I would say, that a construction crew might do. It seems to be like rather quickly done, or by a small number of people, maybe who rushed the job, as it were. The hole seems to go for quite some time. You flash a flashlight down it. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you do want to flash a flashlight down it, you can, but...
Herkermer is actually going to take a take a random cloth out of a pocket, and he's actually going to wrap it around the end of the flashlight, as to make the beam not go as far.
Okay, so kind of like to filter it, sort of like a what do they call it, a miner's lamp? Like
something like that.
Have a kind of filter over it. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so you put a
I'm doing that just in case there's people down there toward the end of the beams. Yeah.
Okay. You do manage to see that the light does extend for a little ways because it is still beaming, but like not the entire distance. Hannibal, because you could see in darkness between the periods of time when he's moving the light, you could see rather accurately. It extends for probably about 100 feet in a kind of a up and down sort of manner, but you could definitely draw a line to roughly where the end is, and you see some sort of obstruction material that is not earthen. It looks like maybe stone, harder material. Could be a door or a wall. You don't know, but because it's pretty distant. But
it's not. Can I activate Eyes of the Beast?
Yes, you may. I don't
Okay.
believe that requires a roll. But we will check.
No, it doesn't.
No,
No
you're
roll is required.
talking about Sense the Beast, right?
No, Eyes of the Beast.
Oh,
Level 1.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Don't I have to have somebody present to sense the beast?
Yes, you do. Well, you can activate. It's passive. So really, I should be rolling whenever, or you should be rolling whenever you're in front of people who may sense it, or you're discernibly looking at somebody to sense what they are. Yeah, it requires no roll, and it allows you to see in darkness.
Okay.
So you see Lilith's eyes as she turns and looks, and she looks back with the when the glare of the flashlights hits it in that same way that a cat or a wolf might betray their presence because of their eyesight. You see the gleam, and the pupils seem to be like slitted as though it was like an animal or a bird or a wolf or a bird or a cat or something.
Does Lilith turn off her flashlight at that point? Or does she
Yes.
leave it on?
I'll turn it off.
Can you see right now?
Yeah.
How about you two hang back and me and Lilith will go ahead and check out what's like 100 feet up the tunnel. It looks like there's a wall or something.
All right,
Oh.
sounds good. I'm gonna have to learn how y'all do that.
I'm not quite sure how I can do that.
And then Hannibal will just disappear off into the dark, basically.
Okay, so you guys go tromping up. Go ahead and give me. Are you guys trying to be quiet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I assume. Go ahead and give me stealth rolls, please.
A specialization gives you a +1.
Yes.
Yes.
And is it wits and stealth?
If you're trying to be tactical about it, yeah, you're taking planning and things like that. Yes, wits would apply. But you may also use dexterity.
Okay.
I had a cockeyed one.
If you re-roll it, it's fine.
I got the double fangs. Is that just 2 successes?
Yes. Okay, so 4 and then 3. Okay.
You got 2 sets of fangs on 2 different, like, fangs on 2 different dice?
No, just double fangs on 1 dice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's just, yeah, that just generates an extra success, essentially. Okay, so you go down the way. It doesn't take you very long because it is pretty straight, and you guys are being pretty careful, right? You guys arrive up, and before you even approach it, you see what it is. It looks like a door. It's a large. It's stone, and it has like that square shape that doors do, but it also has like a big handle, not like a turning one like a latch or anything, but it looks like it might be pushed or pulled open, and it sits in a sort of like hinge where you see like a stone sort of hinges. So when you open it, it might make some sound as stone grinds against stone. Yes, Hannibal.
Do we recognize this door?
No.
Okay, just checking. Because I don't know exactly what direction Smokes Malone's house is from the hospital.
He's in more of a southerly direction, but
Is it okay?
yeah, but
Okay,
your character doesn't know what direction you've tried. Later on, you'll be able to turn. Oh, I went north because of
Sure, yeah.
thinking about where you're facing and things like that. But under here, it's actually difficult to tell whether you're north or south or
Sure.
currently. I was just saying that because of out of character later.
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I get it now. Okay, cool.
Uh,
I'll pull out my weapon and then motion for Lilith to open the door slowly, unless it's like a 2-person job.
No, it seems like when you actually go up and if you grab the door or test it, it seems like it's actually weighted pretty evenly. So it doesn't take too much effort to push. You could actually like barely push it and it will kind of move.
I will take my gun out and I will open the door slowly for Hannibal.
Okay, so you move it open and it seems that it swings open. There is kind of the...
We're not swinging it in, by the way. We're bringing it to us if we can.
Okay, so you could move
So
motion
then
now.
I can peek through the crack and then we'll open it from there.
Yeah, it's fairly thick. It's like, about a foot thick. But it swings out. It's balanced pretty evenly, like I said. So it doesn't take much effort to pull out on you. It doesn't make that stone against stone sort of sound, like, that you might expect. It's a little grating on the senses, but otherwise, after getting it to where you need to very quickly, it doesn't make too much sound. Charlie and Herkermer, because of you guys are in a tunnel and the way echolocation works, you guys actually do hear it. Like the of the stone opening, just for a brief second though.
Oh, we're here.
What do I see inside?
So we're gonna try something. Hopefully I won't break anything. All right, let's see if we can do this. Let me make
It's going to be a diagram of how all of our characters die.
Yes.
I would just be like, sweet, great campaign, everybody.
All right. We'll pick this up again next week, right?
So can we see this? No, we can't. On.
Yeah, it can be seen.
So okay, this is the door that I'm talking about. And I've labeled these just for the sake of description for you guys. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Right. So you open the door, you see a hallway sitting here. It isn't lit. It is actually, once you open it, there's like a stone threshold. But then you see an old wooden floor that has looked like it's seen better days, like it's badly need a tarnish. The door at the end of the hallway is also like a wood, very ornate but old. It has a thick layer of patina on the outside, which is like dust that collects. And the same with these two doors. They're fashioned in the same sort of Art Deco, sort of engraving, style that the St. Peregrine's Hospital's building is fashioned in. So like around the turn of the 20th century type of fashion that was very popular in buildings and that sort of thing. Like I said, there is no ambient or light source coming in through here. You do notice that this door is kind of slightly cracked open, but not enough to see inside what's going on, and these two doors are shut. The hallway, the roof is fairly short, actually. It's just a foot or two above your heads for the taller individuals in the group. What's going on here? Am I doing something funny?
No, it's not you at all. I looked at the screen, and so when Xylus is looking at the stream, he looks to his left, and so on stream, it looked like Xylus was staring off into the universe, just like, like staring off into nothingness, like, breaking the fourth wall or something. It was great.
He's the abyss.
Yeah. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
It just cracked me up. I noticed it, and I was just cracking.
This is the first time we've attempted this, so without knowing, where people look when they do things. I might be looking this way. This is where my screen sits. So, what do you two do?
In a quiet tone, I'm going to say to Lillith, go back for the other two, guide them here, and make sure they turn off their flashlights. And then we'll all four move in, basically. And, as soon as we encounter someone or a threat, they can flip on their lights.
Okay, so I'll go back, and you guys should turn off your flashlights, and I'll guide you towards the door.
All right. Turns off flashlight. Grabs for his shoulder.
It's a little unsettling, because there's no lights in the construction area either, right? So being underground in a tunnel, being led through a pitch black, it is a little unsettling. But you guys, finding the rhythm, and you could feel the confidence, and Lilith knows where she's going. And you traverse the tunnel fairly quickly after a couple moments of unease. Coming up to the door, you still can't see anything, mind you, but you do feel like as you are brushing out your hands and maybe entering into the building, or the structure, I should say, you do feel the stone cold against your hands, and you feel the discernible difference as you guys step onto a different surface. So now that they have arrived, what do we do? Do we want to go round robin, or?
Sure. I will go to door. You said door E.
Anybody leaves, hold on. Before we start going off places, Hannibal will point out that this could end up turning into a hostile environment immediately. We should not split up. We should move together. Okay.
I was gonna go to door E and listen.
Oh, just listen? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go walk into a room. I was like...
No.
Okay.
I was gonna go listen at each of the doors, but I was gonna start with E and then let the rest of you guys listen.
Okay.
You mind if I hang on your back while you're over here?
Sure.
Follow you around?
So, Lilith, you go walking up to the wooden door. You put your hands against it. You press your ear against it without moving it. And you close your eyes. And for a second, you hear, the normal space that you might hear on the other side of a door. But then there's a sound. At first, very far distant. You would never heard it. Maybe a pin drop. But then it gets louder and louder and louder. Now you can hear it as though you're it's right next to you. I want you to now take your first level of aspects at heightened senses. For those of you who may be tuning in, Angela has opted to allow me to fill in her discipline dots as she goes, and she's purchased them, and she has technically slots in each one. I've pre-designated which dots she has, so when she does certain things, I give them to her. So you do hear the sound, Lilith, going back to Lilith. Go ahead and give me a wits awareness. And I believe heightened senses adds a bonus to that, if I'm not sure. Your aspects, maybe. You will hear something.
Is it a dot for a dice?
It's wits
Yes,
plus. It's wits plus resolve. Sorry.
You get to add your aspects rating to all perceptions rolls.
Yep, to all perceptions rolls.
Okay.
In case you haven't figured it out, folks, I'm a person that I'm the type of storyteller that despite the fact I may think I know the rule, I will still look it up just in case.
I got a skull, and I got all blanks.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do you wish to use a willpower for the black? Only the black dice can be willpowered.
Sure.
Because otherwise, bad things happen. Or I should say, fun things happen for me. I mean, 2, okay. That is enough to succeed because it was an open-ended test. All you had to do is achieve basically 2 successes.
I still would like a consequence.
I'm not going to overly punish you because you
Rude.
hear squealing like a pig or like many pigs off in the distance. And over the squealing, in a sort of cavernous sort of sense, like you get a sense that it's a conversation of some sort. You can't hear precisely what's being said, but you hear voices. You hear
How many voices?
2 distinctly. But you don't know what's being said, and you get a sense that they're kind of maybe it's the echo from the distance, but it sounds like they're in a room, like a large room. Definitely not the next room, though.
I'll look at Lillith and point to her eyes, and then point to the flashlight that Martin has in his hand.
I'll whisper to him. They're not in this next room. They are a little bit further, but they must be slaughtering pigs or something because there's a conversation. There's 2 people that are conversing, and then the squealing of like pigs or something.
Can you see light?
I don't see any lights at all.
No.
Okay.
Are we going in hostile or are we going in passive?
If we're doing this appropriately, we should be checking every door along the way first. We don't want to go to the end of the hallway and then find out that there's people behind us. We
Fair.
should start at the first door to our left, make sure that's clear, and then work our way down.
Okay, so you're checking the door to room B first?
Let's go to room B first, yeah.
Okay. You open the doors. Like I said, it's the same wooden door with the Art Deco.
Wait, did you say that the doors were locked, B and C, and that
No, they were closed.
they were shook? Okay.
They have actually no locks on them. You open them up. First door, B. And what you see is essentially it looks like some sort of storage room. You see very old wine caskets that have kind of rotten, mildewed with age. You see some shelving and such. Basically, there's like wine rows all along this right here, and then in the center there's shelving and things like that that have kind of are still standing there, but like in various states of decay. You also notice that things have been overturned, not as though if something had fallen. When a shelf falls, there's obvious like something fell, and then but like there's things that have been like that. Like it looks like the room's been thoroughly like ravaged, like searched through. You see open, broken caskets or kegs, like wine kegs. You see boxes and chests that have been shattered open and left on the floor with various antiquities and other, like like you walk in an antique shop, you have all these bins and bops that might be in a box, that kind of thing, like just strewn over the floor. It looks more like a kind of a heap of rubble and old things. And no light. There are sconces, by the way, like on the side of the wall. Like they're not modern lights, but they're like sconces, as though you might put an oil lamp.
I'm gonna move on to C and actually listen to the door first before I open.
Okay, you listen to the door, and you don't hear anything on the other side. And then you go to open it?
Yeah.
as you open it, you notice that this looks like some sort of laboratory slash research room. You see tables that are very neatly lined up with each other with old beakers and phylacteries and like chemistry type stuff. And then you see also that there's a cauldron in the center of the room that looks to be overturned. There's various things that you might use in a chemistry or like old. All this stuff is by the way dated. Very like much. This isn't stuff that anybody uses anymore unless it's like a beaker. You know, like a beaker has pretty much been a beaker. Everything looks like it's overturned. There's like cabinets, like little cabinets where you might store like ingredients, or maybe ingredients were stored at one point in time, or different types of chemicals or things you might use in that type of research has been torn out. The shelves have been left discarded. You notice most of the beakers and things like that have been more or less shattered or in some sort of state of disrepair, as though they had been violently broken or searched through or disregarded by somebody. There is a thick layer of dust in here, and along the sides of the walls where people have a hard time, there's like cobwebs and that kind of thing. It looks like this room was ravaged pretty quickly and then left to its state that it had pre-existed in.
There's a lot of lab stuff in here.
We can come back. For now, we need to deal with any potential hostile threats.
Yeah, so when we approach them, are we going to approach still like?
We are sort of coming into a random place they don't expect us to be. I mean, we should, if we approach, we should approach them with caution. They are in sort of a secret layer underneath our territory.
That's fair.
You are then, because you've cleared both rooms, I'm assuming you're entering room E?
Yes.
We will be opening the door and seeing what we can see, basically.
Okay.
We're not going to enter the room until we've seen, like, tried to gather as much information as we can.
Yeah, you'll listen. You'll maybe crack the door or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the idea, is crack it, peek, like covering our space to make sure no one's just standing there or something.
Making sure that when you enter, you're able to cover the corners and things like that, so nobody just jumps out at you, right?
Yep.
You notice that this room has... I get to draw shapes. Yay, shapes. You has... Let me make sure I got the right layer. There we go. You notice that there's a door here. And a door here. The rest of the room, however, you... As soon as you open it up, the wooden floor kind of brushes up against a carpet, a rug, like one of those Persian rugs, the really nice ornate ones, with really decorative designs. Its color is faded and worn. You notice that there is a thick blood streak along the one outer edge of it as it kind of runs the length to this door over here. Very old and old stain, nothing fresh, of course. The rest of the room seems to be sort of like a lounge sort of area. It has some bookshelves that are empty. You notice that there's very nice old, like Victorian era sort of couches and such. There's kind of the ceiling here is a little higher, and you notice that there's sconces where you could put candles or lanterns or something of that nature to light the room very brightly. You notice that there's a large mural sort of painting along one end, and then there's an oil painting on the other. And along the oil painting, it shows a large desert with a pyramid that is sort of beaming some sort of light into the sky in very sort of conspiratorial sort of fashion, mysterious, sort of like you might almost be looking at a painting that was painted by somebody who watched alien autopsies or something, right? It looks very Illuminati-esque. Other than that, there is nobody in the room. The room's obviously not lit, and once again, it looks like it's been torn through. You notice that there's scraps of paper and things like that that have been kind of left on the shelves, but you know, like you notice that there's obviously disruption to the way the room has sat for quite some time. Get rid of the ad there. Sorry, guys.
So I'm gonna clear. We're gonna clear room E, and then we're gonna go listen to door D.
Okay, you go listen to door D, and you don't hear anything again. Coming from the other side of the door. It is again a wooden door. This one's a double door that you might open instead of a single one.
Okay. I'll go to door H and listen.
With that one, you do hear the pig squealing. It you hear it when you really dial in your listening, of course, but you definitely hear that the path of the sound is coming from not the hallway immediately, but somewhere beyond the hallway. So it's definitely traveling up through the hallway to you. And this time you can hear two voices pretty distinctly, clearly.
I'm gonna stay and listen what they're talking about.
You hear a gruff voice. Stop. God, I'm trying to read. And then kind of a sort of a angry another male voice. I'm getting bored. Come on. All you do is read. Read. Let me go snatch one of them. I'm hungry. Besides, pigs gotta eat, right? Come on, I can only watch so many reruns. Silence yourself, orphan. Shut up. And then you hear a third. And then you hear a swift thwap as and a clanking of some sort of metal, as though something were being struck.
So I'm gonna look at the group and whisper. There's three voices. One's very gruff and wants to read. The second voice says, "Pig's gotta eat," and says he's hungry. He wants to go eat. And they're striking someone that's groaning. It's further down the door H. There's nobody in D.
We should check D first, though.
Okay,
Like
so
I said,
I
we
will.
don't want anyone behind us, so we need to at least scan it, make sure there's no one there.
I will open D
Okay.
and peek in.
You notice a very large room with a bed, very large, like I don't know, like I can't call bed sizes, but like it's a very large round bed with the sort of banisters that you might have. The canopy is a little worn for wear, but it looks very ornate, very expensive. It looks like it might be the design on it again is Persian, or somewhere originating from the Middle East. The rest of the room is styled in the same sort of Art Deco sort of design. Some couches, some furniture. You notice that there is a large tub, or like stone sort of tub or thing in the corner here, where there is sort of a flat sort of surface about a body's size, with metal grating. It looks like a medical, like a coroner's table with the holes and things like that. There's a wardrobe. Wardrobes have been lined up, old style wardrobes, where you open them up and, and other than that, it doesn't have anybody in it. It isn't lit, of course.
I'm gonna check under the bed and make sure that I'm checking the nooks and crannies.
Okay, the bed is lying down. The frame of it sits flush against the floor, and
Okay.
The bed itself, the sheets are made of satin, or starting to have seen better days, but there's nothing underneath the bed. No real space for anybody to hide or anything like that, unless you want to like lift and see if there's a space.
No,
or something, like.
There's this has to be Cole's room.
I will note it doesn't look like it has been lived in, right, for a very long time.
It doesn't look lived in, and I don't think the people we're going to meet are going to be Cole. I think there's other rogue vampires here.
Well, let's go say hi to the neighbors.
Yeah. So we're going to
So the
open...
plan is when you hear me say lights, turn on your lights and point them past me, and you guys will be able to see what's going on.
I'm going to open door H, then very slowly and look beyond.
Okay. Door H is just basically the same sort of hall that this one was over here. Drawing shapes. Just make sure went wrong screen. You notice that there's a door. The door is slightly ajar. You do just notice that it leads to a stairwell going down, right? This door seems is shut, but this one, unlike others, is a stone door. It looks to be much more heftier, and has a bar set across it, as though to lock it from the outside, right? The stairwell, you could see also there's light coming from down the stair, emanating somewhere down the stairwell, and the voices are clearer now. As you open the door, you can all hear. You do realize that like now that you can hear directly, that the sounds are very much amplified. So
I have a delay on mine, so I'm waiting to see where the other door is. Okay. So stairwell is G, correct?
yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to F, and I'm going to listen to that door first.
You hear nothing.
I will open that door. Or did you say that's the stone door?
Yeah, F is the stone door. This one.
Okay, never mind. I will not open that one yet.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you guys do?
So I'm going to whisper to Hannibal. What's the plan?
So you were listening in at the G room, right?
F.
Listen in on G really quick too.
Yeah.
G is the jar you said, correct?
Yeah, G is the jar where the stairwell is. Here, I'll actually write it if I can. F, you go to open it
Pull
up
the bar, yeah.
You pull up the bar and you open up the stone door. In there, it seems to be another type of storage, but this one is stone. It looks to be that there is, unlike the other rooms, it is not distressed. It is not destroyed or anything like that. Things have not been really gone. There's several cubbies stretching from the floor to the ceiling, each with their own sort of tray made out of metal, and the trays each have like different odds and ends, like things that look to be more of a valuable nature, or at least a more of an ornate one. You see various cups, and you see some idols and like little figurines, and some ornate knives that have everything has a by the way, like kind of a dust over it, a layer of age. You see different or jars that have been kind of aged over with stuff that you can't really identify in them, with old labels that are starting to peel or have their lettering weathered. It looks to be some sort of storage room where you might keep more valuable things, I should say. Like, you know, like everything has been placed in here to provide it with some sort of care.
All right. Nothing in here other than expensive things.
Yes, Hannibal.
Do I recognize any of the iconography?
Go ahead and give me a intelligence occult. And we're going to make this one, I'll say 4 successes.
Can I use academics?
No, in this case, it would definitely be occult.
Oh, so this has no... Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. So yeah, you've never seen any sort of it definitely looks esoteric. That much I can say. With your academics, you see esoteric. You've seen esoteric things, manuscripts, things like that, right? So it looks esoteric, of an esoteric nature. Yes, Lilith.
Can I also do an occult roll?
You may not.
Do these old Nokia phones have cameras? I don't even remember.
Nokia.
Bad cameras, but yes, they did.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna grab one of the flashlights from the other two, flip it on, and then try to take a quick picture.
Sure.
Of all the different iconography and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn the flashlight back off and hand it back to, we'll say, Herkermer, and hand it back to him.
As you go flipping through it, you notice that at one in particular cubby, the one at the end here, at the end of the hall, because you go through and you take pictures of things, and one particular cubby seems to be only preoccupying this wall, right? Instead, because they're normal, like, they're like a box and you have something in there, but this one seems to be like just this one cubby. It's about at waist height. You notice at the center of a round metal tray that's been placed in here, surrounded by a glass, is a jar. An old ceramic jar with some sort of carvings or engravings that you've never seen. Looks if you had to make a guess, maybe it's like the type of stuff to remind you of like Egyptian type stuff, like something you would see in a museum, right? And it has a little cover on it too, by the way. Because, you know, jars, not all jars have covers, I guess. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do, and that was unnecessary. But anyway, there you go. You take a picture of it.
Okay, to the stairway, I guess.
Okay. You,
Wait a minute. Quick question.
sure.
That bar that was on that door for room F, is that a 2x4?
Yeah, it's kind of a big, thick wooden bar.
Can I carry it with me?
You can. It's not, like, designed for personal use, as it were.
Okay. I'll
If
leave
that's
it
your
then.
intention. It's kind of lumbersome. You can easily carry it. It's not too terribly heavy, but
It's not. Yeah, but
it's just awkward.
awkward. Yeah. I'll just leave it.
So you guys go down the stairs. As you guys go down the stairs, you hear the voices now become very clear. You hear "shut up," and you a couple more kicks, some more metal clanging, and Namor is like, "Will you stop it?" It's like, "Well, how long are we gonna hide down here? How long?" And I wish Castor was back. Well, if you don't shut up, he will never be back. As you guys enter, I'm gonna turn that on. You guys exit. Oh, here's the stairs. Hey, look at that, stairs. You guys exit the stairs to this balcony where there's this large room. Over in the corner here, there is... Oh, give me the shape. Stop it with the ads. I don't care about you. Oh, add a new layer. What? I'm on that layer. There you go. Over in the corner here, you notice that there is a cage that's been erected with some sort of person that's tied up in chains, lying in the center, lying kind of away now, as the person is getting kicked. You notice over in this corner, there is a pen that has been erected out of boards and bookshelves of things like that, where there are several large pigs. There are little lamps and things kind of strewn around the room. The back of this room is kind of more or less dark, but you see some bookshelves kind of sticking out in kind of haphazard fashion. Over in the corner here, right at a table, right, is an individual who's bent over the table and has a candlelight, has a bunch of books. You notice that there's a large pile of books that has just kind of been amassed in this corner. The bookshelves have been kind of overturned, and it's kind of like a heap of garbage and things like that. They've kind of crisscrossing over each other as their various heights. They're not uniform necessarily, but they've been kind of tossed over. The books off them have been obviously taken and put into one big pile here. You notice this individual who is wearing a large, long jacket, with it's very grimy and dirty, long hair, and he's got books in front of him. The other person is basically wearing a undershirt, is very built person, is kind of mostly he's got blood on his hands as though and mud on his boots. He looks like he's been dealing in a very dirty labor of some sorts that has had some gruesome results. He goes and kicks the individual and goes and sits back down on a sofa here where there's like a TV plugged in on an extension cord with an old VCR, and there's some sort of show on it, and he's kind of bitching and moaning. The person in the cell is obviously disheveled, ripped clothing, male. You do notice the individual has lots of tattoos, like full sleeve sort of body tattoos. They look very worse for wear.
This is the person that's chained up, correct?
Mm-hmm. And then over in the corner here, there is a pile of dead human bodies. Leading down to it, there's a stair, like kind of a staircase going right here. Forgot to add that because I didn't know how to draw it, and I suck at drawing on this thing, obviously. That there's a staircase that kind of leads down this way as you guys enter. You guys are obviously hidden at this point, enough to hear the conversation that goes on. It's like, man, if I had to watch one more of these fucking 70s shows reruns, I swear to God. Namor's like, Namor, when are we gonna get out of here? We can't get out of here, not until we learn what these books say. The manuscripts have the secret. Now shut up and let me concentrate. The guy who is obviously being referred to as Orphan shakes his head. He's like, man, you've been in a pissed off mood ever since those fucking people busted in. Come on, just let me go poach one. Aren't we supposed to be dominating the world or something like that? Come on. This is fucking boring. He throws the remote at the TV. Yes, Lilith.
Can I see them from where I'm at?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys all have a good vantage point.
Can I sense beast on them?
Yes, you may. Go ahead and give me Sense the Beast.
So while she's doing that roll,
Sure.
I'll just say quickly what Hannibal would say. He would bring everyone in close. He would say myself and Lilith should move around them in the darkness if we can, and then you guys set up on this side. We'll help you get into position, and then when you hear me yell out lights, basically feel free to turn on your flashlights if you need them and be ready to fight. The hope here is that we'll try to surround them if we can. If we can't, we'll try to get as far around them as we possibly can and then move in on them. How does that sound?
Works for me.
Cool.
I rolled 3 because I'm sensing the 2 guys and the guy that's chained up. I got 2, 3, and 5.
You mind if I hang by the stairs just in case they try and run?
My expectation is that one of you guys would remain here.
Okay.
Or close to here. Like, you guys would both be on this side, and then me and Lilith are going to move around to another side of them and try to, pincer them, sort of. Is the idea.
All right.
The guy with the books is definitely harboring a beast. You definitely pick up the sense of a vampire. You don't know how hungry he is, but you sense a faint agitation. The guy at the TV is also a vampire. The guy in the cage is as well as a vampire, but you sense from him that he is extremely hungry.
Okay. I'll huddle in. All 3 of these guys are vampires, and the guy that's chained up is very hungry, and he's also a vampire. What's their level of hostility? I mean, obviously the guy in chains just hungry.
The guy in the book seems mildly irritated. The guy who is in the TV is not does not seem hostile necessarily. And the guy who's in chains is yeah, he doesn't seem to be too into it. Like he's kind of out of it, in a stupor. He's conscious, but he doesn't seem to be hostile at all.
Okay. I will then look at Hannibal. Be like, "Are we going?"
Yeah, our plan, Doug, was to try and stick to the shadows and try to like get to the other side of them if we can, or as far as we can get to the other side without popping out from behind cover or into the light or whatever.
Okay, so you're coming around these guys right here, or
yeah, basically is the idea. We want to with Herkermer and Charlie on one side, me and Lillith, because we can move through the dark without needing lights. We'll move through what shadows may still be here in this room,
Sure.
and then basically pincer them all at once.
Yeah, it's extremely well lit, so it's easy to kind of sneak down. You may even be able, because it's a tall room, but you could even possibly get down here next to the animals, who are squealing a lot. By the way, they just seem to be never shutting up. So you could probably use that as cover, and using the darkness because it is fairly dark in that area to steal. But you're still going to require a stealth roll.
Sure.
Being opposed by myself, of course.
That's in stealth.
I will spend a willpower.
Yes. Because you're using tactics, wits, and stealth would apply in this situation. Oh! No! Okay.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I know, right? Okay. Okay. So you got 4, and what did you get, Hannibal? 4? Okay. So you guys both managed to actually drop down and get into the position amongst the there's kind of like the bookshelves and things like I mentioned. Yeah, so you guys managed to crawl under and get into a situation where you crouch down using, there's a bookshelf hanging over you that's kind of tilted up against another one. And you guys are in a pretty good hiding spot. Position.
Well, we plan to immediately engage them, so we don't want to be like stuck under anything.
No, you can approach from outside. That's fine.
Okay.
I understood the intent of what you were talking about, but
cool.
Before you guys do that, you guys want to be hidden. So and Charlie and Herkermer are taking position up here in the balcony, correct? Okay.
More, roughly there, right? Or was it more?
Yeah.
In the
wherever
room?
we had come from.
Yeah, you guys came down here. You guys were sitting up here. Here's the stairs. Right here. So like they're about up here because here's the stairs. You guys came down this way. And then you guys went down here, and you guys are right here. What are you guys doing?
I'm waiting on Hannibal.
Are they armed?
The guy who's sitting next to the TV has a weapon within reach. It looks like a bat of some sort,
Okay, so no guns or anything.
You don't see any firearms. Yes.
Can I use heightened senses to sense if there's any? No, probably not over the squealing of the pigs. Never.
Yeah, the pigs are being quite loud.
I will point to Lillith though. I will point to my gun and point to her ears and say, "It's gonna."
Okay, so I will turn off that heightened senses. Is it? Wait, is it always active in this game?
No. You turn it on and turn it
Okay.
off.
Okay.
All right, and then at that point, we will stand up. I will say lights, and then I will start walking forward, pointing my weapon at them.
Okay, are you not firing, or are you just pointing? Are you just like popping?
Pointing, just approaching, pointing weapons. We're dealing with hostility if they try something, but we are not firing on them yet because we don't know who the fuck these people are.
Okay, so you got lights. You guys come out with your guns. You guys have your Herkermer and Charlie. You guys, pull up your guns. Of course, the guy at the couch like gets up and he's like, "What the hell?" Right, and the guy at the table seems pretty surprised too. He like starts and you're pointing the gun. They don't seem to immediately just respond, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy at the desk recoils, his fangs bare, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?"
We're the landlords. We don't like squatters. What the fuck are you doing in our territory?
Your territory. Who says?
The Red Queen.
I say.
And she says.
And she says, and we say.
And I'll say it again just to fucking back it up.
The guy at the bat, he's like, he looks at after Charlie speaks. He looks at he's like, "I say we show him what the sons of Cain are worth."
Sons of Cain. What?
You're all squatting on God's land, motherfucker.
Are you gonna hit me with that baseball bat? Because that would be kind of rude.
Let's teach him a lesson like we did the rest of the tower bitches who came in here.
I'm not
We're
a tower.
From the tower.
Herkermer, yes.
I thought he was going to attack somebody. If it looks like he's going to attack somebody, I have something planned.
I'm anticipating that if anybody makes a move to do anything aggressive, that everybody's going to react at once, and we'll handle that when we get to it. But I'm assuming that you're prepping something. It's kind of one of those moments where it's like, I'm shooting him. It's like I get it. Like we're good. The guy at the table. Really? Because the last bitches here said they weren't with the tower too, but they came looking for their prince.
So why would the Red Queen tell us that this is our territory, and then why would we be from the tower? Think about that.
Red Queen. I'll tell you what. We won't do to you what we did to the last crew who came in here. And when you survive, I won't use any of you as my blood back like I did their guy.
I'm gonna shoot him in the head.
Okay. So you're initiating, but everybody will respond at once because I'm assuming, like, as soon as there's a gunshot, everybody's gonna snap fire. But that being said, let's go round robin. So Herkermer, you see her going to go shoot. What are you doing?
Breaking one of the two vials I have to activate the property of it, and I'm going to try and disarm the one with the bat of his bat.
Okay, so you're gonna try to get him in a contested roll to take the bat out of his hand?
Correct.
Okay. Lillith, what are you doing?
I'm gonna aim and shoot him in the head. Cold shot.
Mhm.
Is that something that exists in this game?
Yeah, called shot does exist, I
Okay.
believe.
And then what is firearms based off of as attributes? Is it dexterity?
Nope, it's composure and firearms.
Oh, composure and
It can be
firearms. Holy crap.
it can be dexterity if it's a quick draw, or even possibly wits under certain circumstances.
Oh, it's fine. Composure is fine.
Yeah, they really split up the roles for combat roles in this edition. Okay, so they're only really used to do, like, when you're decapitating a head or staking the heart.
Okay.
You subtract your successes in order to do the
Okay,
called
so I'll
shot.
just shoot him.
Yeah, so just shooting him.
So I'm going to do that's a complex action, and then I get a simple, right?
Yeah, if you want to subtract a dice, well, you have
No.
Cat's Grace, right? So
Wait, how many actions do I get? That's
you only
like-
get one action. If you want to do an action like something small, like drawing a gun or reloading or anything like that, you have to subtract one die from your die pool.
Okay, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to realize as I shoot that I have claws, and I wanted to put my gun away after I shoot.
Well, you've already declared your shot, so you'd have to wait until your
Yes,
next
I know,
action.
I know that. I'm saying after I shoot, and I've already rolled and
Okay.
everything. After I shoot, can I put my gun away, or do I have to wait till the next turn?
Next, yeah, you could put your gun away if you want to. So you subtract one dice from your die roll. One moment, Hannibal, what are you doing?
I'm also going to be shooting.
Okay, and who are you shooting at?
Same target.
Same, okay. And Charlie?
I'm gonna shoot.
Shooting. Okay. He.
It would be hilarious if we all shot the same guy.
You're probably
That'd be
just
awesome.
gonna all shoot.
Screw that one guy
Are
in
you
particular.
are you shooting the who are you shooting? Charlie.
Who was the last guy who spoke?
The guy with the books, the guy that we're shooting.
The guy being real disrespectful like?
I thought that was the guy with the bat that was being really disrespectful.
Yeah, the guy with the bat was being disrespectful,
okay.
but the guy that spoke and said he wasn't going to turn us into his blood bags if we survive.
Oh, was those two
Was
different
the guy
guys?
with
I
the
got
books.
confused
Yeah,
by that. I
they
wasn't
were
sure
two
which
different
one was
guys.
speaking.
Yeah, there were
Fuck
two
that
different
guy.
guys.
Fuck that guy,
Um,
ridiculous.
Can a person take 3 attacks?
No.
The way it works is for every attack he takes past the first one, he starts minusing dice from his dodge, from his actions and dodges and stuff. So it affects his
Gotcha.
dice pool basically.
Okay. So I got 2 successes and then I got a
Okay, so he is going to rouse check to. Okay, so there's a hunger. He's going to pop claws as you shoot, because he's expecting an attack, and go to attack you.
Yay!
So it's going to be contested between me and you. The guy with the bat is going to try to rush forward as well and hit at Hannibal.
Okay.
So he will, but as he goes forward, he's gonna, and Herkermer tries to take the bat from him. He's gonna get into this weird struggle with his own bat because he doesn't know what's going on. So essentially, he's not attacking. He's just basically going to be contested rolling against Herkermer, and Charlie will have just a flat difficulty. So he's just going to take the defense. Okay, so he's going to go attack. He's going to strike at you.
And it's contested, you said?
Yeah, so let's do me and Lillith first, because that's the fun part. right?
What am I rolling?
You're rolling your normal firearms. 'cause you're
I did
shooting.
already, and I got 2 successes and a skull.
Okay, so he senses the moment that you're going to strike, and he reaches forward and he hits you. He pops his claws and strikes you first. You had 2 successes.
Yes.
And so that's going to be damage 3 clauses plus 1. Right? So 3 you're going to take 4 superficial damage that is not going to be halved. At that point he will take 3 shots because Charlie's shooting as well. So go ahead, Charlie and Hannibal, go ahead and throw your shots out.
It was our composure plus our firearms, correct?
Yep.
I'm going to rouse for +1.
Okay.
I gain a hunger.
Yeah. 2, 3. He's also rousing for +1. Let me know when you guys get your results.
The Onk with the 2 stars is a critical, right?
Yes. It's a 10, and then generates an extra success. A critical is when you get 2 10s.
I got 2 of those.
Okay. Is one of them on a red die?
No, my red die is blank.
Okay. So yes, you got a critical success. That's 4 successes.
And then a normal success.
Oh,
That's 5.
that would be...
Okay, 5. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the new dice.
Okay. Okay, so subtract 1 from both your tests and add your pistol damage, which is +2. And that's going to be 1, that's 6. Yeah, see, that's 6, 13. Even halved is, I think it's rounded down. So it would be 5.
Round up.
Yeah. Or is it rounded up?
Yep, it's round up.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's pretty grisly. So you, like, in superficial damage, you manage to track him out. And he hits his track. Which means that he would be taking lots of aggravated. Herkermer. Let's find out what's going on here. Go give me your...
I got 3 successes. He rolls strength and athletics to
All right.
retain the bat.
Strength athletics. Okay. He fails.
Awesome.
And the bat goes flying from his grasp.
Yep, it is telekinetically under my grasp, under my control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's currently floating in front of him
Okay.
and kind of dancing around a little bit, because when it becomes my turn again, if he's still there, I'm going to whack him with the bat from a distance.
Yeah. Because we're going to run out of time, and you guys did track him, I'm just going to basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one roll against Lillith just to see whether or not he actually manages to land another hit on you, because with those odds of what you guys did, you're probably more likely going to track him out within a turn or 2 at least and win the combat. I just want to see if he manages to get any damage. Now you can heal.
Can I hit him back?
Yeah, you're so it's going to be a contested roll, me versus you.
Okay.
You're shooting.
I'm not shooting anymore. I put my gun away.
Oh, your claws. Okay. So you pop your claws, make a rouse check for your pop claws. And what's your hunger level at, by the way?
2.
Because it will be important probably next game.
I got one on my rouse.
Okay. You're fine.
Do vampires no longer auto torp when they get filled up on? Do they go into torpor when they get filled on superficial, or do they have to get filled up on aggravated too?
Maybe superficial, but even still, he could heal. But I was just measuring them out.
Yeah. I was just wondering because I didn't know how that worked in this game. That's the part I forgot or something.
Good question. Damage and stuff. It's aggravated, not superficial.
Okay, so we have to fill his track again, basically, in order to torp him. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's good to know.
Yes, Herkermer.
To activate Far Reach, I had to do a rouse check,
Yes, you did.
which I forgot to do until now, and I failed. So I go up a hunger.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. My players are awesome. Look at these people. Look at these people. Okay, so what'd you get in your successes, Angela?
8.
Yeah, 8. Wow. Okay. So,
Damn.
so you managed to do 4 extra damage to him, which is fine. Because he got 5. And you guys like descend in a ball. So we say for narrating purposes, basically he jumps on you, you pop claws, and for a brief moment you feel an intensity. The beast arises in you in a way that you have not felt, particularly. It is not the wave of frenzy, but it is an animalistic feeling. It's a predatory feeling that resonates deep from inside you, from you don't know where. And you fall as basically he's still getting shot from the other side by Charlie and Hannibal into a ball, and you basically it turns into this back and forth, sort of rolling around as though it's like, there might have been a clean fight here, but then it turns more like when you see two like a hyena and a lion sort of tangle and tussle, and the brutality as you go to strike him. Now I'm gonna ask you one simple question here, because there's no question in my mind that with the amount of damage that you're able to lay on him in one turn, whether or not you'll put him in torpor, is in your throes and animalistic passions. You're not in frenzy, right? But you are feeling this visceral instinct. How far do you push it? How far do you let that sensation take you? As you are cleaving into him, feeling his dead flesh rend between your claws.
I'm gonna do a roll for that and let it decide. High, I kill him. Low, I don't. I got a 10.
Okay.
Hold
Yes.
on, Michael.
Yes.
I was gonna say, if it seems like she's gonna kill this guy, is there any way for us to intervene, or is there just not enough time? I totally understand if there's just not enough time, because it's hard to see what's happening. But I just wanted to check.
It's both not enough time and the ferociousness. It's not a clean fight. It's rolling around and sprites and animalistic. You see Lillith like making like sounds like as though she's like in some sort of like animal like carnage lust or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's a ferocious. It's like when you hear animals fighting, and the chaoticness of it and the speed of it. So even if there's no discernible moment like, oh, she's gonna kill him. It's just a fight. And even if you were to, yeah.
So it's like one of those moments where, like, I wouldn't know he was dead until she was basically just standing over him and he's dead already, kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
So, you rolled a 10. So that was the.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you come to rest. Finally, basically, you're rolling around and you feel the claws as his body stiffens into torpor, and there's a brief moment where you feel the urge to say no, but you just can't stop, and the claws shift up into him, and you feel a gratification as the claws cleave open his torso, like cutting through bread. And the stiffen of torpor and the brief glint of his existence looks you in the eye with a fanaticism, mind you, that you've not seen in too many people. And then his body twists and starts to ash and decompose around you, and for you're sitting there in the remnants of something that was undead, but is now just more or less just skeleton and a couple whiffs of rotted flesh. I think that's where we're going to leave it.